It's Battlefields of the 20th, 40th, 2nd. Yeah. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great. I consider becoming a channel member. There's the Patreon option. The Amazon store affiliate link if you're grabbing anything over Black Friday. And Kevin's here again today.
Hey.
I dragged him out of the woodwork. That doesn't really make any sense. Anyways, well, I was basically, so YouTube, they've got this like new thing on YouTube where it's like if you go on your home page, like any channel's homepage, it like shows like suggested content. It's like it's a for you kind of tab now, so it just like pulls up random videos and streams from the channel, and I'm like, oh, this is cool for like building awareness for like older stuff that people don't know about. And then I saw a bunch of like 2042 streams when I was kind of testing out to see what, you know, it kind of shows. And I was like adding some timestamps and stuff to older ones, and I was like, oh, we actually had like a bit of a good laugh playing this around the beta and the launch, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we should do a stream of it. Okay, so what's really funny is you weren't ready with this game yesterday, right? Like, you didn't have it downloaded?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided, I was like, huh, you know what? I wonder if I've got Battlefield updated today. So guess what I didn't actually even have installed until today.
Oh, really? That's what I did, because like it was on my Xbox, but when I tried to play it, I had the 82 gigabyte.
Which is the whole game.
I was like, okay. Yeah, the whole game. And then when I finished that and we're getting ready to play and I hopped on, it then told me I had an 8 more gigabyte update.
Which is insane.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, it was so funny today. I was like, huh, that's hilarious, because even if we were going to do it yesterday, we wouldn't have been able to, because, you know. And I was like, you know what, no biggie for me. I just, you know, download it. It takes however long it takes, right? But, like, I laughed a lot about that, because I delete it now. It's 90 gigabytes. It's not like I stream this too often. I'm like, you know, you gotta save space, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, hell, I'm gonna have to get rid of RoboCop again here. Actually, did you see RoboCop?
Yeah, what is it really?
The game? It's kind of really fun. It's like a AA game. It's actually the most successful that the publisher has ever released, I guess. So I'm assuming we're gonna get a sequel. They bring back the voice of RoboCop, like Peter Weller's back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, it's actually. Oh, hi guys. It's actually kind of fun. Like, it's not perfect. Like, it's got some, you know, kind of like AA, because like kind of an indie game, but a little higher budget. But it uses Unreal Engine 5, so it does look really good. And there's some like, you know, level design things where I'm kind of like, some bosses are a little ridiculous. But like, it's really like you're RoboCop. You know, like in shooters, you're supposed to like dodge and dip and take cover. In RoboCop, you walk through everybody. You get what I mean? Like, you just...
Oh, what, you just like tank every shot and just go room
basically
to room, you know, murking people? That's hilarious.
Like, you can pick guys up and throw them against the wall. You can pick up like dumpsters and throw them at people, and you have like your pistol. But yeah, it's like, because COD, you know, you're dipping and dodging and trying not to get shot, and in RoboCop you're just like,
yeah,
and you can hear like the footsteps like and
that's really
they have open world areas where you can go and like issue like parking tickets.
Oh, that's huh.
And you go talk to like the prostitutes. You can go and talk to them, and it's kind of funny. Like, it's so I was sitting there
imagining like
I was just, you know, just the thought as soon as we started streaming, because I was doing a little bit of footage of it, I was like, huh, where have you even ever heard of that game? Because I think that might be kind of your vibe almost, was RoboCop.
This actually sounds interesting. I was just thinking as you're describing it, almost sounds like true crime streets in New York or LA.
Yeah.
But you're RoboCop.
He's got all the like the jokes, like the one-liners.
Oh yeah.
You know, like he makes like all these one-liners after he's like destroying, like he takes off someone's arm and he's like, what did he say something about? You've got one hand now or something? I was like, what? Yeah, he's just a walking, talking tank and one-liner. Because I don't think there's another game out there quite like that, right? But that would be a RoboCop game, because RoboCop's not, you know, he's not a sleek moving thing. Kind of like how a Terminator game should be if you were playing as the Terminator, right?
I don't know that this is the gameplay, but I do think it would be really neat if, like, there was a game where the whole point of it was that you run around shooting things, and it's not that it's supposed to be difficult, but that you're supposed to have fun just destroying everybody you see in unbelievable ways, you know? Like, that's the point of the game.
Bulletstorm. That's Bulletstorm.
That's Bulletstorm? Okay.
Have you ever played Bulletstorm?
I have
Okay,
not.
so it's Gears of War, basically, because it's like one of the developers that like kind of worked on like Gears Judgment or whatever. But like it's think of the mechanics and the look of Gears of War, but like you can, as soon as you kick or slide or rope someone, it kind of goes into slow motion, and then you kind of like execute them. So you can kick them on cactus or spikes or electricity, and you get points for doing that. And what's really cool is if you pay $5 extra for the definitive edition, you can play the entire campaign as Duke Nukem.
Oh, okay.
So they released the game on 360, and then they re-released the definitive on like last gen, Xbox One, PS4. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll get the voice of Duke Nukem to come in. And so nothing else in the game changes. It's just you playing as Duke Nukem, and Duke Nukem is like wondering why everyone's acting in a certain way. He's like, Robo Dude, like, why are you talking like this? And he's like, because, you know, they're giving their regular performances just as they normally would, and then Duke Nukem's just like ad-libbing on top of it. He's like, I don't know why you're so mad, man. it's actually, because I always, like, I do my sales videos, and I go, if you're buying this, you have to do it with the Duke Nukem, because it's so
just a better experience.
Funny. Because it's like, you know, the main character was like serious and gruffy, and the Duke Nukem's just like, I don't get why everyone's so mad here. Kind of like a fish out of water scene, but yeah, no, that's Bulletstorm you're talking about. And it's just like, it's about doing trick kills.
That's really neat, because
yeah.
Games like that, you know.
Well, for RoboCop too, you can actually, it's got like great environmental destruction, so you like just shred like walls and cubicles and glass and people. Like it's got like one of the most satisfying like head popping kind of sounds. Like your pistol's designed to take away people's heads.
Okay.
You should watch gameplay of it. You actually might kind of like. Did you watch RoboCop at all? Like the movies? Yeah.
Yeah, I know the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, original RoboCop dude back, and it's like perfect. He's even got his companion lady and stuff. And yeah. And as a RoboCop, you, after like each level, you have to do like a psychological evaluation to find out what's wrong with you.
That's hot.
So you make some choices too. It's kind of a neat game. But yeah, big sales. The publisher literally said that it's like their biggest game ever. So I would be shocked if they're not going to be like pumping out a sequel right away.
Capitalized on that.
Well, I mean, Peter Weller is not getting any younger, right? Like,
yeah.
Also money. And it's like AA, so it's not too expensive. So like, you know, well, it takes time, but it's not too, like, it's not like a AAA game where it takes forever to make it. Although I could see them falling into the pitfalls of like wanting to make the next one a AAA instead of, you know, kind of.
And everyone complains that it doesn't have the heart the last one did. You know, they put way more effort into it.
It's kind of like the Hollywood movie where they inject too much money into the sequel and then it kind of doesn't feel the same. Yeah. Anyways, let's see what people are talking about. Oh, hi folks. Yeah, he's basically a tank. My upgrade tree? Oh, like yeah, I didn't have the upgrade chip, I think, or something. Which made some parts of the game a little frickin' brutal, but yeah, hi there. Did I enjoy Teardown? It was interesting, but I don't like all the alarm stuff. Yeah. Anyways, the poles. See, that's the thing that always kills me, is people take the polls, like, very literally. Like, I will purposely do, like, a joke poll on the channel, and people will be like, what's this guy's problem? And I'll be like, the best movie, and I'll put, like, a selection of terrible films. And people will be like, something wrong with this guy. I wouldn't vote for any of these. It's like, sarcastic, guys.
Well, that was the one you did with the games or whatever. It was like, what's the game of the year? It was like Redfall,
King Kong.
Something else, and Donkey Kong. And that's where it was so funny when you mentioned, like, hey, have you seen this game? You know, and it was like, I hadn't seen or really heard about it, but I figured it was really bad before you mentioned it, because I saw it on your poll.
You saw it on the poll, so you knew what it was? That's Kong Skull Island. Oh yeah, because I showed him, guys. I showed him the cutscene where it's like the JPEG image or whatever.
Yeah.
They made a Walking Dead game.
I think it made it better.
That company, they just released a Walking Dead game, and it's being, like, everybody's saying it's horrible, but I'm like, I don't know if I could stomach another bad game this year, and I definitely don't think I would want to pay for a terrible game, but people love the streams of bad games. Kong was traumatizing. Anyway, so your first match back, how does it feel now?
It was okay.
Is it everything you ever wanted? Did they fix...
I don't know, it's kind of the same game.
Did they fix it completely? No, it's the same game.
Kind of the same game.
But the soldiers now have, like, blemishes and scratches on them.
I know, it still seems so lifeless. I don't know.
Alright, well, we'll do one more of this as a warm-up, and then we'll go into regular rotation.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Hi there, folks. A sore head? Well, I hope that gets better, Thomas. We've been having nothing but issues recently. Yeah. Gollum, Kong. You know what? Wanted Dead actually wasn't that bad. Like, I don't know how to describe it, where it's just kind of like... I've played such bad games this year where I'm kind of like... maybe some of those that I was a little lukewarm towards at the beginning of the year weren't that bad. I gave Wanted Dead, like, what, a 5? I was like, for me, it was difficulty and some bugs and stuff. But I still kind of liked it. And then Gollum was like, oh my god. And Redfall was... I think people didn't think... what was it? Gollum... Was it... Which one came first, Redfall? Or... Yeah, I think most people forgot about how bad Redfall was because of how bad Gollum was. And Gollum came out, like, right afterwards. Which is amazing.
That's funny. Yeah, I've heard nothing about Redfall. It's supposed to be that big thing of like, oh, hey, this is supposed to be a huge game, you know?
It was one of the temples for Xbox this year. It was one of the big 3 releases: Starfield, Forza, and Redfall. Ugh. People keep trying to get me to stream that one again. I'm just like, god damn it. I did like a joke stream when they updated it to 60 FPS. The player count jumped up, Kevin, on Steam. It went from 1 player to 60 on the day of the update.
Wow.
Yeah, 60.
Oh, wait, I genuinely only had 60 players.
On the big 60 FPS update.
It has 60 players. That's incredible. What I think is even hilarious is that it genuinely only had 1 player on the count. Like, I want to meet that guy.
He's just the concurrent person keeping Redfall alive. They did a joke article. There's a satirical gaming company called... Oh, I don't remember what they are. Harddrive.net or whatever. And they did, like, literally a joke about that. The one guy that's keeping it going. He's like, the devs are literally counting on me. I feel more pressure than the developers do. Fuck.
That would be so hard to even work on a game that I know has like 1 to 5 people any given day play.
Like, it's just like, it's dead. And I don't... Like I kept saying, I was like, I don't know why they're not just cutting their losses. See, the other funny part is they sold like a character hero pass. So they are financially obligated to deliver on that on those characters, so they're releasing them over 2024. They said we're still going to do them. We're going to release them over 2024. Because like if you do that, like legally you could get sued, so they'd have to refund the whole game, or they have to deliver on these character packs. And obviously they did the math, and it's more expensive for them to just, you know, basically get the, or it's more expensive for them to like do refunds than it is just to deliver on these characters, I guess. But
that's hilarious.
I don't see that game coming back, because it was one of the guys who now retired from Bethesda, good for that guy, Pete Hines there. He was like, oh yeah, this is going to be one of those games you know, people are checking out 10 years from now, and I'm like, I don't think so. I really don't. See, it's like...
Oh, with that player count, because you heard me go on, like, I've always hated the term dead game, because it's used so loosely. Yeah. But yeah, you got one player, like let's say even you got 60 players.
During
like,
your big update.
Whoa. That's
done and done. And it's like, there's so many issues with that game. So it's like, Cyberpunk had issues when it launched, but it was still a good game underneath all the problems and the bugs. It was still, like, its core was good. It was just a mess on the outside. You can clean that up. But the game that has that many rough edges, you can't fix that. My biggest issue, because I'm assuming you never touched that game, because it's god-awful.
No.
So to, like, you know how in most multiplayer games, I could create a lobby and you could join in progress, right? You can't in Redfall. You have to start your lobby with the amount of people you want to play co-op with. And no one can join in progress. And there's no matchmaking for multiplayer.
So what was the one guy doing? Like he was doing a campaign or something?
That's all that game is just a campaign. It's like a shared world that you, well, not shared world, it's the sole, sad, singular world. But like, the whole game is like a story game that's supposed to be played cooperatively. And your character's skills, so each character that you pick, they have certain skills, like one of them's a medic. So I'm like, oh, it's a cooperative game. I'll play as the medic. And like, I don't even know if I ever got to play that game with anyone else because of the way it was designed. Like, you literally couldn't join in progress. So I had a character where all my class, like my entire class is built around playing co-op. But I was never able to play co-op. So none of these skills, like I'm putting points into skills that help a team, and there's none that help me playing through the game.
That's funny.
It's dumb, like really genuinely stupid. Okay, we need to get out of this vents here. Are you, like, we're not progressing. Like, we're just like stuck. We're not moving ahead here.
Yeah.
A Costco food court video and buy hot dogs. Yeah, I'd like to, but it's really hard to get someone that agrees to come out with you to Costco and to film you eating a hot dog. Yeah.
Plans for the day to do that, right?
Like, you'd have to plan your day around it too, right? It's not like I'm just like going by, like, say Kevin's or something, being like, hey Kevin, you want to go and film me eating a hot dog at Costco? Well, I got nothing else going on. Let's go do it.
I think that would look so weird too. You got two guys sitting there in the food court, like, all right, dude, eat that hot dog. Like, what are those guys?
What are those guys? You just film it. Like, you'd have to like leave the Costco, I guess, and that's even weird too. It's just
yeah. Just sitting there leaving, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to film you eating that. Like, I'd love to say that out loud. Like,
you're gonna look real good with that wiener in your mouth.
Right.
Anyways, guys, it's been a while. Be sure to like the stream, subscribing's great, donations cool. Consider becoming a channel member gifting, the Patreon option, the Discord for stream alerts, chat at great times, the Amazon store affiliate link if you're buying anything on Amazon, and gamerheadquarters.com. I write on my site sometimes. Ugh. And this is Kevin back from the dead. I saved you and Caleb. You guys are both running now.
Yeah, man.
To get burned alive.
The dream is alive.
So anyways, you still getting Metro vibes on this, or do you think it's more like Lock-in?
No, it is locker. You're 100% right.
It's the tight corridors.
Yeah. Oh, and you got the upstairs, and then halfway through the middle, you got the one lower layer. You can try flank around. It's just missing the
that. Okay. So that's what I was telling everybody when I was playing this, where I'm like, I don't think this map is very good or as good as Locker, because it doesn't give you the option to flank around. You're literally screwed having to go straight through.
Yeah, straight or underneath. Where Locker had the third option where you could take the outside in the snow,
which allowed you to flank and sometimes break through, right, to get to a new area.
Yeah.
And this map just, like, it screws you because, like, you are just stuck. Trying to break through. Terminator Resistance. It's way better than Terminator Resistance. Terminator Resistance, like, I get a lot of people that act like that game's, like, really, really great, but, like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, the acting isn't very good. And, you know, like, it's probably the best capturing of, like, Terminator in a video game. And it's got some cool ideas, but it's not, like, a great game. But they basically, that's what RoboCop is an evolution of that. And I think they're getting closer and closer to, like... Because I still wouldn't, like, necessarily give RoboCop, like, a super high score, because, like... You know, they do, like, reuse levels, and some of it's a little awkward, and there's some, like, bugs and stuff. But it is, like, genuinely fun. Like, that first level is pure joy when you're walking through a news broadcasting place, and you're shooting your pistol, and RoboCop's, like, throwing out one-liners, and you're, like, picking guys up and throwing them through the wall, and... It's funny, you know, you shoot them, and their head just goes... And there's, like, a huge cloud of, like, blood and everything, and you blast off someone's arm, and they're like, "Oh, my hand!" It's you know, that's just fun. And yeah, like the Terminator game, I think is kind of along those lines, but it's still like I wouldn't say Terminator has that like fun element to it that RoboCop has, where it's like genuinely a lot of moments in RoboCop I was just having the time of my life, just like being like, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." It was, you know. Oh, crap, did you get it through, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, ho, ho, look at you.
It's gotta be sneakier than the other guys. Than the next leading competitor.
Yeah. Ah, fuck. You're gonna get yourself a new desk and the Nuka-Cola bottles? You're damn right you're gonna get those. And Pip-Boy bobbleheads. Unbelievable.
Ooh.
What was it? The one straight Thomas was sitting there and he's like, I want the Nuka-Cola like bottles or something, but I'm not sure if my significant other would be like okay with that. I'm like, if you wanted them, just go buy them. It's like,
yeah, right.
You know, as long as it doesn't hurt you and it's not like ridiculously expensive
like
and you like it, just go out and get it.
It would be funny if also would just go get it and it's like, alright, I spent my last dollars of rent money on it. It's like, no.
Because I'm like, as long, like, with anything in life, as long as it doesn't hurt you or affect you negatively and you enjoy something or want something, just go and get it.
Yeah. She should want you to get it because you enjoy it.
Exactly. Speaking of which, I did the alpacas.
It would be neat. Yeah, how did that go?
Nice. It was kind of a little bit on the line, honestly, like timing-wise. I think we got a little too cocky because of the nice weather, but yeah, it was beautiful. Like, you know, the countryside of Alberta, you know, open prairie, and it's all just grass, and you can see the mountains. It was sunny and nice, and I got to see the alpaca. I think the photo turned out good. I don't know yet. Still waiting for it to come, but you know, I got some like video clips of me with Gizmo there, and yeah, it was great. Loved it. Seriously, it was just nice. It was a nice, like, country drive and everything. Bum, bum, bum. What did you get up to today?
I had the day off, so I kind of just hung out. Buddy got me this game, Warno. Tried that out. Really
What was
neat.
it?
Warno.
Warno.
Yeah, it's a Cold War strategy game. 1980s, if NATO and the Soviet Union, like Warsaw went at
So
it.
like a shooter or like
it's
an
not,
over top kind of?
Over top strategy, but you know, like almost reminded me of like classic. What was it? I think it was Combat Arms or something like that. If you remember that. But like you're not building the base, but you pick the divisions. And like you start with the units, and it's like, okay, you got a couple Abrams, you got a couple
so
F-18s
it's like
and all that. And
kind of Company of Heroes. Well, Company of Heroes, you do build some bases.
yeah, Company of Heroes, you build the base. It would be like
I get what you're talking about.
It would be like Fallout Tactics, yeah, but with like way more units, you know. Obviously, yeah.
I played a game like that.
What would it be, like Gears Tactics?
Not too long ago, because it was Gears. Yeah, Gears Tactics would be a good example of that. You have set units and you have to use them strategically. So is it turn-based or?
No, like yeah, like everything's happening at one moment.
Okay, so it is live. I'm trying to think. There's literally like a game I was playing on the Xbox not too long ago that was like that. They gave away as like a games with gold or something before they axed that program. Literally can't think of it. Commander Strike or something like that. I don't know. Something. Actually, it's kind of like, what was that Panzer game called? Did you ever play, what the hell was it? My uncle, I think my father played like just a ton of it back in the day. It's Panzer something is the franchise, and it's like little hexagonal squares, and you move units along like that.
Oh, that's. I know they're what was it? They're saying Steel Division is made by the same company, and they keep wanting me to get that one. It's Warno with Second World War or whatever.
Now I'm wondering what the hell that Panzer game is.
Yeah, doing that. Another guy got a PC today, so we're playing a lot of Hell Let Loose together. And other than that, what was it? Victoria. I got totally stuck in Victoria. I'm not big on how the combat system. It's such a funny. It's actually a really neat game, and the game is not based on combat like the other Paradox games, but like the way they have it, it's really like it's kind of almost poorly done.
Well, combat isn't at all the focus of it.
No, it's not, but like it is some things that like it's supposed to be like it's like a set it forget it thing. But like I was playing the Prussians, and you got to do the Brothers' War, which basically Prussia beat Austria, and like stupid king stuff. Where in beating Austria, that proved that they were the rightful heirs to German Confederation, yada yada. So like if I'm doing Prussia and I want to unify Germany, I have to win this war. And literally, I ended up, for the first time I tried it with my buddy, we were laughing that I was 10 years into this war, like 3 million dead, which in the 1800s is ridiculous. Yeah, the lines had not moved. And I'm like, well, how the hell do I do this? You know, like, yeah.
It's Panzer Strike.
Everyone's leaving my market.
By the way.
Panzer Strike.
Panzer Strike.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
That's a lot of dead people in that era, dude.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. And it's like, well, they should give up. And like my buddy was telling me about how they used to have it that if you got too high in like casualties and war costs, you'd surrender. But people would complain that like, well, they didn't take my lands. That's where I'm laughing at. Well, if you're going with the time in the 1800s, they didn't really fight war to conquer all the territory. It was, you know, my army is better than your army, cousin. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it was a bit of a show off. It was a bit of... Especially for a game like stuff. Victoria, where it is focused more around that political theater, the societal, you know, high society stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Sunstrike 4. Oh, thank you. Sorry, that's the game we were talking about.
Oh, there you go. Sunstrike, okay.
There we go. Sorry, keep going.
That's awesome. Oh, it's just... Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny because, yeah, I had everybody in my market. And that's like one of the big things in the game is that you want to politically be set with people. Then you want people within your market so that, like, you're the financial power. And, like, it got to the point where, like, the Netherlands and Belgium and all of them were leaving my market because I'm in this constant war. No one's making money, you know.
It's bad for the economy. In that era.
What was it? Like, yeah, in that era, yeah, you always gotta say it that era. But like, and the funniest thing was, it has a wounded system, which is neat that the other games don't really have. But it was like 3 million combined dead and like 1.5 million wounded on each side, and it was like, if you're wounded in the 1800s, you're like, depending on the injury, your life is
Yeah.
over.
Like, you're basically worthless.
Yeah. Like, you got 1 million homeless people now because, you know, they're missing limbs and stuff. It's just funny.
Your economy totally falters too because, you know, well, war is expensive. Nowadays, our economy is like a lot of it is based around like war generation and stuff. Particularly the U.S., their military complex. But, you know, like, war back then, particularly, was like expensive to wage. And it would bankrupt countries, basically. That's what would like end wars, would be like, I don't have the money to keep fighting this. Because then your citizens get pissed, and then they revolt, and a little bit of French Revolution, right?
That was my main thing. And, like, that's where I was laughing, too. That, yeah, in the spirits of the 1800s, there was not really a lot of wars where it was in, like, you know, in the 20th century, obviously, the two big ones, but that was all in the name of, I will take everything from you, you know, and replace it with my own. Where, yeah, in the 1800s. So, literally, I'm fighting, the war goal is unification. That I'm really just trying to make the other guy look like a bitch, so, you know, like,
God. You should have tried to host more fancy dinner parties, Kevin.
Well, that was it, right? Oh, what was so funny was I got the British in. And I thought, what a great ally. You know, like 1840 something. Like, England should be #1. And then they ended up putting all these small colonial armies that, like, because you can't control the armies. I can't tell the Grand Prussian army to push. It was always England taking the initiative, so they would be pushing the line with, like, 2,000 Canadians. And we would just stall out, and I can't do anything about it. I'm watching this like, really? You know?
You just gotta sit back and kind of take it. Did you ever go back to Crusader Kings and do the... Oh, what the hell was that DLC called? I was laughing my ass off about it. Tournaments and Kings or something?
Oh, yeah, I went back and played that one. It was so funny that they had all those extra things, but I barely did it.
It was like jousting and like weddings and...
Yeah. The only thing I really did the most was, well, the Grand Wedding was neat, but it's so expensive that, like, if you're a counter or duke, you can possibly pull it off, unless you're, like, later in the game. And I'd always just do the Grand Tours, so that all my vassals wouldn't absolutely hate me. So you go visit everyone and keep good relations. But yeah, it was alright.
Yes, some scandals and death at the wedding. 800 million a year military budget. That's so ridiculous. Happening with Stalker 2. That one's coming next year still. Yeah. Fallout 76. I like Fallout 76. Bob City. Oh, that one. That one was pretty bad too. God, what the hell was that game called? It's like Payday, but with like big celebrity voice actors, and it's just really, really awful. Or aggressively, Rock Hay City or something like that. Yeah, I was just like, what is this game? I think it was aggressively okay, but yeah, there's been some real duds this year. It's funny because we've had like maybe one of the best years ever for gaming, but like also some of the worst games ever too. It's such a weird mix, and it makes those like bad games look even worse when it's like stellar games. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, I think what else?
You know, that is funny though. There's a lot of good games, though. I'd say just more games that came out this year. I want to check out than like usually. I'd say like single player games. Usually, one or two shooters will come up that I really enjoy, and I'll just kind of play that for the next year or two. Yep. But yeah, there's a bunch like Baldur's Gate, Starfield,
Hogwarts, Zelda.
Yeah.
You know, Diablo.
Yeah, actually, Diablo was another one. Yeah, a really good year for gaming. I don't know if it was the greatest of all time, but
Spider-Man 2. Up the stakes, man. And then the Phantom Liberty DLC expansion, which was amazing. of good stuff, dude. Lots of good games. Great games. Ever so great. Anyways, yeah, Alpacas today, which was nice. And then I kind of chilled. Just trying to think if anything else happened. No, that was about it. I love the alpacas, man. I'm gonna have to see if they do anything where you can just go and like feed them and hang out with the alpacas, because I think that'd be a blast.
That is funny. I like that. It's just this like farm. They know every year they're gonna get like a surplus of money where people come take pictures of like the alpacas.
Well, it's more than just like like there's like a Christmas market. Like, okay, so it's
Oh, so it's just seasonal? It's just the Christmas?
no, they do stuff all year. It's called Granary Road. If you guys live in, you know, Calgary area or anything, it's outside the city. And it's kind of like it's outside of where Spruce Meadows is. Spruce Meadows, they're doing a Christmas market, which looked like a freaking nightmare. There's so many cars parked there. But yeah, they do. It's like a learning center, so it's kind of like they have like activities for like kids and stuff to do things. But you know, it's like a full farm, so they have goats, so they do like goat yoga you can go and do, or pay and hang out with the goats, and they've got the alpacas, and they've got mini golf, and yeah, during Christmas they do the alpaca photos. You can do photos with Santa. There's like a full market, so usually each year I buy like a wine. The wine dude would not shut the hell up with other customers, so I was just like, I give up because it's taking too long. But also they have like the Burbank, I think it's called Burbank Distillery.
It's just a total attraction.
Yeah, so they got all these like, and there's like an artesian kind of thing, so people with different, you know, shops, and it's like a, you know, like a Christmas market, and it's like it's a big thing where they have lots of stuff going on, and stuff for like the kids and blah blah blah. And then this is a Christmas thing, but throughout the year they do other like events. They have like a chocolate event or something. Like I haven't really gone to these other events, because, you know, I'm doing other stuff. But like I was also thinking it'd be a great place for like a wedding, because I don't know if it would be super expensive, but like they have like areas set up for that, and it's like a heated building and everything, and it's kind of out of the way, but it's not too far from the city. And I was like, actually it would be like a pretty good spot. It's like pretty open prairie land, like it looks nice. Yeah, they got a lot going on there. So that kind of gives the context to it. Man, we cannot get any fucking ground here. Should we just call it on? Like, well, we're almost dead anyways, but dude, like I think we lost ground.
This breakout. Oh yeah, just squad. I think we all good at A1. It's gonna help by the time we get there.
Yeah, I like these zip lines. Whee!
I did not know that. I wasn't until you mentioned it that I was like,
you just were walking?
Yeah, I was just walking the whole time.
we going up there? Oh, we can't go that way. Oh, we're flanking. We're flanking. That's so funny. You were just walking along. Yeah, man, the zip lines were nice. That was good. Yeah, I like the, yeah, it's Granary Road. I want to go and do the mini golf, too. I wanted to do the sleigh ride, but it just looks like it's a tractor that, like, kind of pulls, like, a thing around. I don't know why I'm expecting horses, but also it doesn't really feel like a sleigh ride, because it's, like, there's no snow. So, yeah, that was weird. Because I always, whenever we go there, right, it's snowy. Like, it's cold and snowy. It's usually, like, -10, -20. And today it was, like, I think it was, like, 4 or 6 degrees or something. I was like...
No way. Sorry.
Yeah. We got spawned. It just died again. Edge of your seat. It is Edge of your seat 2042. Invigorating 2042 gameplay. That was funny. I don't know. We'll see how people react to this. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm dropping, what is it, Xbox Series X from like the titles of all the streams.
Oh my god, it just doesn't make a difference.
I've been kind of testing it out. I'm also, you know, kind of moving a little bit more away from the Xbox stuff, and it looks, I don't know, I think it might attract more people if it's more platform agnostic and stuff. It kind of worked, like the last 2 nights were pretty decent.
Noticed. what was it? There was a couple of the posts or whatever where you're asking like, hey, what are you playing on this weekend? And you were like overwhelmingly Xbox, you know, so you could really tell like the fan base you got.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of those community posts is it's supposed to reach like a greater audience outside of your scope. But it's like, yeah, I need to do better to attract others. You don't like this anymore?
Oh.
But Caleb, you said this was like your favorite game. The next match is about to begin. Yeah, go to the back to the main menu. That's what I'm literally telling you. Dumb game. Just like I'm telling you guys to like the stream. Subscribing's great. Donations cool. Consider becoming a channel member. Channel member gifting. The Patreon option and the Discord. There's also the Amazon Starfleet link if you're into that. Okay, so do you want to do Breakthrough or do you want to do Conquest?
Breakthrough.
Just keep in mind, like, Breakthrough is only 32v32 now.
Yeah, that's so funny they dipped on it. You think they would have at least just kept it a game mode?
Yeah. Or at least tried to, like, make it work or something. Because the whole point of this Battlefield to me was, like, the fact that they're doing larger than ever Battlefield, and then they're just like, well, we can't make that work. And it's like, why not? That's my thing, is like, why doesn't that work? It's just doubling the players. Shouldn't you be able to double the play spaces and just, like, accommodate?
I think you've absolutely nailed it. Well, that's like the funny thing is, I always love telling people that is I bought the next gen for Battlefield. This was the game that made me buy the new Xbox early.
Yeah, this is a selling point.
You know, like I probably would have waited till like Insurgency or something came out. Actually, that even came out on the last gen. But yeah, like honestly, what was the one thing you were talking about where they were talking that it wasn't fun or something, and you kind of even noticed it when the game first came out that there wasn't an angle you didn't get shot from, but they did really poor cover.
There was no cover.
I actually want to play some. Yeah, I want to play some of the other maps you're saying, but yeah, it was open fields. Like there was no trees.
You know why it was?
They even made.
Because it was supposed to be a battle royale game that they pivoted into a full Battlefield like a year before launch or something.
I'm just black screened right now.
Black screen?
Yeah, I think I'll start the game here.
You're not in a match? Okay. We'll see if you can join in. If not, we'll back out and get you. But, yeah, Caleb's not even here either. I guess maybe he dipped. Did he give up?
That was this Caleb's favorite game.
Oh, he was talking about it. Because this game did have, like, a big blow-up. Like, it had larger player counts on Steam than it did at launch the last month or so.
I've seen that. Actually, hell, there's a lot to talk about this game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what was it? I just looked randomly a couple ago when you mentioned that we were going to play this, and I saw that it had 13,000 players on Steam, and that was more than Squad and Halo. Like, it was actually one of the bigger shooters. And I even looked up Battlefield 5. That was my biggest joke, was that Battlefield 5 had a larger Steam count for, like,
a long time into the life of this one,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, right? It's hilarious. And then, yeah, this one had a really big thing, and that's where it was really cute that I had two buddies of mine who didn't even really play this game much, but would play a lot of Battlefield 5 with me, and they were playing this one. They're like, oh, get into it. And I'm, you know, kind of boo-hooing it, and yeah, I don't know, like, it's interesting how it got up, but, like, what you're saying about it being a battle royale, it's really interesting because you can
see it.
Kind of see it in some of the maps.
There was no cover. None of the levels were designed for the player counts.
That's where it was really sad. Oh, I'm in queue just for one. I don't think it's
if it takes a little bit too long, just, you know, just let me know because it's not too hard to get you here. Hi, guys.
Okay. But yeah, like I thought that lack of urban maps, because that was the big thing that like with Battlefield 5 and 1 there, I thought there was a lack of urban maps. But Battlefield 5 could have had it, you know, Second World War had lots of urban battlefields, but they're like, oh well, you know, fields and stuff, and that's where, like, I thought it was funny with the battle, like literally the term battlefield, and you'd see the meme of like it was just like a field all the time. But then you got this, yeah, you know, but like, and then you got this game, and I thought, okay, modern combat, like no excuse not to go more urban, yeah, and like nothing.
Nope.
You know, and
well, you play
heck,
outside of cities. As I look over, we're on Hourglass. As I look over to the city, you play outside of cities, or is it Kaleidoscope, where you play in the middle of the city? Somehow you play in the part of the city that doesn't have any city to it.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, it's literally like the central part.
It's like if you had a New York map and you only played in Central Park, and that was that was it. You'd be like, what?
Yeah, ridiculous, right? Like, why you think you would just go around the park? You wouldn't go into the park because anyone who controlled all the skyscrapers would just shoot down at you.
It'd be a sniper haven.
Yeah. Yeah, just funny stuff. Like the lack of cover, and like you have 64 players on each side. Which, by the way, there is actually no game that can think with that player size that's like bigger scale, like even squad and all that. It's a 100-man lobby. Mm-hmm. This was the biggest that I could think of for this style of game. It was so freaking cool, you know.
It was a selling point.
And then they just absolutely dipped on it. Yeah. And my thought is that either you add way more cover for everybody, or you just nailed it on the head. Extend the map, you know, and you don't have to go squad hell let loose size, because obviously it's Battlefield. The player base wants to be in tight. When you're playing the military simulators, all that, it's like that's kind of what that player base is expecting. It wouldn't fly in Battlefield. I remember jokes with the size of these maps. People like, oh, you're walking a lot. And it's like, come on. But yeah, all you had to do was just extend the map a little bit, and you're good.
Or at least add some buildings or something. Like, okay, so I've been doing a little bit of Bad Company 1 and 2 recently. And man, I miss Battlefield when you actually were fighting in, like, cities, and you could actually, like, level everything in those cities and actually, like, carve up the map, if that makes sense. Because you could actually take out all the buildings. And in this game, it's like the last few Battlefields, they're just like, nah, no destruction. It's weird.
No, and it is really weird, right? Like, and you can notice it getting less and less. Battlefield 1, I think, had really good destruction. By the time you get to 5, you could blow chunks out of the building, but it wasn't even like, you know, with the older Battlefields where you could, what would be like the word, like dynamically blow up the building in different ways?
Specific.
You know, where in Battlefield, like I think of Operation Underground, where you would always hit the one building and it would blow open the exact way. Like it was such a set animation for what it was. And by the time you get to this game, I can't really think of anything that blows up. But
I think a wall
like, Battlefield 4, like you're pointing.
You can take out part of this wall. That's like about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's sad.
But like, I always hated the supremacy behind Battlefield 4. Like, I played them all. They were all great games. We all played Battlefield 4 and that. Like, it deserves its love. But what drove me nuts was that I really liked 1, and obviously, I'm sure it's been announced a gazillion times. I really liked 5. But everybody just absolutely hating because it wasn't 4. You know what I mean? But like, I'll give 4 its credit that 4 probably had some of the best maps in the series.
It was just a well-designed iteration upon something people really loved, which was Battlefield 3. It was a fine-tuning of that game, and I think that's why that hit so well. And also, for consoles, it was mind-blowing because we finally had like PC-level player counts.
Yeah. The up to 32, right? That was the selling point on the 1.
But I think they stumbled on this one. And I mean, to me, again, the biggest point is like when you play these levels, they don't. Nowadays, they've redone them all. So I'm kind of wondering their opinion by the time we get to the end of this, as you've played a few of the older maps and seen them like redone, kind of how they feel.
Yeah.
But like, you know, fundamentally, they weren't designed for this function. You can really feel that they were designed for a battle royale thing where it's large open spaces, you drop in and you move to the cities, right? Whereas like regular Battlefield play is you are supposed to move through cities, and then the outside areas that are open are where you're like flanking or where you're positionally changing where you're going.
Yeah. You would throw in 1 or 2 kind of like foresty maps, and it would actually be more the mix-up in it as opposed to the other way around, you know? Yeah.
They really kind of, I don't know if I could even say they lost their way on this one, but I think they went I think the pivot kind of hurt the franchise a lot. Because I'm going to go with, you know, when they're like, okay, this is good for Battle Royale. It was working for Battle Royale. And then they're like, oh god, we're pivoting to a full Battlefield. And they were kind of just caught flat-footed being like, okay, we have to somehow pivot what we've been building from one purpose into another purpose. And it just didn't work. And, like, you know, they've repurposed these maps, but I still don't think they fully still have it in that place where it feels like a proper Battlefield. And that's disappointing. And now I'm really curious to see what the next one is, because I'm assuming in 2024 we're getting a new Battlefield. But I'm like, I don't know if this franchise can still compete at a COD level anymore. I think that time is kind of past. And I believe, for me, I think like a lot of people are like, oh, they're trying to win back, you know, the audience to get big numbers. To me, this game is more like the way they've updated it is just to keep their fans that they still have interested in it until that new Battlefield comes.
Yeah.
To give the next one a chance, essentially.
Oh, that's the sad thing. Like, I don't know. Battlefield was probably my favorite. Well, like, if you go back to, like, junior high and all that, you were to ask me, I like COD. And I think that's the funny thing, is I think COD really appeals to the younger fan base. Obviously, people have their preferences in that, but COD seems to always win with the kids. But as I got older, Battlefield really became my favorite. That's where it's cute that you mentioned, remember back in the days where the argument between Battlefield and COD was Battlefield was more tactical.
Yeah, Battlefield was the millisim.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But you didn't have the tactical shooters at all.
No, you didn't on console. It was not a thing.
Nowadays.
There was Operation Flashpoint.
Yeah.
That was it. And that was not a popular game on console.
Yeah. Exactly, right? Like, obviously I'm playing on PC now, so I have a wide range of options, but like, yeah, I do. I really enjoy my tactical shooters, but like Battlefield is just awesome. And like, I even mentioned that, like, I kind of miss like the time I spent on 5 and all that. But what killed me a lot with Battlefield was the way the whole 5 thing happened. You don't even have to go into it too much. We all know what happened, the back and forth with company and fans and so on and so forth. It was boring. I remember sticking up for that game the whole time. You were making jokes the whole time. Like, oh, hey, if Kevin dies, you know, we got to do the Battlefield 5. Like, you know, right? But like, I love that game so much and stuck up for it all the time. And then
just gave up on it.
No, yeah, they just gave up on it. And like, I was looking forward. We're doing the Sicily map, and what I think is hilarious that if you want to do the unknown maps, when was the last time you had a Second World War game in Sicily? I think the last one I could really remember was Mafia 2 and the opening tutorial.
Whoa.
Where you're
where's the Sniper Elite 4 love?
Oh, so actually, there you go. Sniper Elite is actually the last one to actually is the current one to go to Italy. So yeah, a total love for Sniper Elite there. Yeah, like good on them. But that's a kill series.
Fun fact, guys. The lead character, Carl Fairberg, for Sniper Elite, voiced Tony the Tiger for 20 years.
There you go, man.
Yeah, I have an interview with him up on the channel for Sniper Elite 5, but yeah, he voiced Tony the Tiger for 20 years.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Yeah, actually, that would be a very referenceable interview to go check out if you're bored.
Yeah, seriously, like, just like the guy was like,
no, that's awesome.
We gotta shoot Hitler in the balls. They're great.
Right?
What?
Yeah. Oh, that is just awesome, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, but yeah, I would. 5.
You might know me from Tony the Tiger. I was like, what?
So, what? Yeah.
Sorry.
What? Sniper at the end of every game, you shoot.
You're breaking up there, Kevin. I think Kevin died, guys. Let me check if Kevin died. Kevin has died. Yeah. Alright, let's see what people are saying. 2042 doesn't have Skeletor. Grenade! A Spec Ops stream. Well, Spec Ops is single player, so I'd have to have Kevin here to do that. So you never know someday. Let's see. Walking Dead Destinies. I mean, it looks horrible. I kind of want to play it because I think it would be funny to cover, but yeah, I don't want to really play it or buy that at all. Okay, there we go. We'll join. We're joining Kevin's thing. I think we're joining Kevin's thing. Sorry guys, the other team sucks too. We're just having some technical issues. Kevin?
Sorry about that.
Rainbow Six Siege. We streamed Rainbow Six Siege not too long ago. You guys didn't really come out for that one. And I don't really love playing that anymore. It's not the Rainbow Six Siege I played when it came out. We did it for Master Chief.
Very different game, right?
Sorry, what?
Oh, yeah, Rainbow Six is very different.
Yeah,
right?
it's nothing like Rainbow Six Siege when I, like... You know, from when the game first came out. The game is, like, entirely different. But I went back to do a stream for it because they added Master Chief. Which was very cool. It was actually pretty well done. Make sure the party's invite only, Kevin. Ready or not.
Yes, I did do that, yeah. Sorry about
Well,
that.
we never necessarily said we were going to do ready or not. We wanted to, and then didn't get, like, a code for it or whatever. Wish membership was free.
I do think that one would be
Well, the
really
whole
fun.
point of membership is you have to pay for membership because it supports the content. That's kind of the whole purpose of it. Yeah. You didn't get apple pie, Valander? Aren't you like old and adult? Can you buy yourself apple pie? Should have splurged, man. You could go get yourself apple pie this weekend. Right? Oh, Manifest? Oh, that's what this game's missing, those dumbass tornadoes.
Oh, did they take the tornado?
I don't know. I haven't seen one in this game for quite a few streams. Maybe. Man, that team we versed last match sucked.
Yeah.
Like, they got no ground on that one at all. They were bad. This map sucks. This one and Discarded should be like removed from this game. They're horrendous.
It's actually funny that was one of the selling points in this game too, was the whole like, oh, environmental damage all the time, the world, global warming, and it just turned into
Tornadoes.
Like, stupid twisters. Yeah, sometimes that would go along like the very outside.
You wouldn't even see or anything.
It would have no effect on the battlefield.
Well, the way they pitched it, it kind of sounded like it was going to be extreme weather. And it was like, oh, so it'll be like hail on one match or extreme snow. And it's just like, nope, tornadoes are everywhere. And it's like, oh, okay, why? Because they are. It's like, all right. Like, I'd love a geologist.
That'd be cool if like halfway
to try to
explain
why there's tornadoes all over the world. Because from what I understand, tornadoes, like most extreme weathering conditions, need like certain like conditions, and they can only happen in like certain areas because you need the conditions in order to make that kind of thing possible. And, yeah.
Well, isn't that supposed to be the neat cheesy fact with Alberta, and especially, well, like Calgary here is the way the valley in that works is the hot and the cold air can't get in the right spin with each other to create it. It's something I heard that there's almost like no chance of a tornado ever happening in Calgary, and there's never been one recorded.
I thought we've got some outside. Yeah, you're right, because it's only been outside, and it's because of where we live. Yeah.
Outside, yeah.
Because like, you know, Chinooks, right? We're like the only place in the world where they naturally occur. Except now they also occur in Dubai because they made a man-made mountain, which kind of accidentally recreates that sort of effect, which is funny.
That's hilarious. Because, yeah, that's where Chinook's supposed to be due to here. Yeah, where the hot air is trapped in the mountain and released. Yeah, that's hilarious. They did a man-made version of that.
And it was accidental. It's like they wanted a mountain for, like, I think ski lifts or something? I don't know, for skiing. They do what they do there, right? And then accidentally, because of that, it created the effects of now they have Chinooks in that area. So, there you go, guys. Geology fact of the day. On the streams, you also learn. You learn, hopefully, that you're supposed to like the stream.
Oh, gotcha.
Subscribing's great, donations cool. Consider becoming channel member. Channel member gifting, the Patreon option, and the Discord for stream alerts, chatter, and great times. There's also an Amazon store affiliate link if you're into that kind of thing. Actually, for was it Halloween? Did you and the gal do any sort of dress up thing or anything?
No, she loves to dress up for Halloween. It's her favorite holiday, so she ended up doing the whole witch get up and decorated the front door so all the kids who came by, and she handed out candy, so it was a good fun for her.
Nice.
I just kind of, yeah, I play games and that, you know. We did watch all the Halloween towns, though.
Now alas, I did not do that this year.
Ooh.
Too busy, and I don't have the D+.
Yeah, will Calabar ever get his revenge? I don't know.
They need to reboot that or do a soft reboot of that.
Yeah, well, it would be funny, right? Actually, you could do one with Marty
And her kids.
as the head witch, yeah, and her kids or something.
I think would be perfect.
Obviously, not gonna get a Debbie Reynolds thing.
Yeah, you're like, what, several years now on that one? Too late? Well, you know, Disney's having a hell of a time right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was funny. All those outlets were over projecting for the Wish movie, because I was telling you, if Wish,
What, it made like 16 or something like that.
oh, dude, it did really bad. So,
Last I heard it.
so for context, it's like if Wish bombs, which it is officially a bomb, every single department of Disney will have had a bomb this year. Pixar, the regular Disney animated, the superheroes with Marvel, the Lucasfilm, which was Indiana Jones. Every single department in Disney had a bomb for their 100th anniversary. And Wish is like, because I was laughing, I was like, I think these guys are over projecting, and yeah, so their 5-day weekend is headed for a disastrous $32 million on a $200 million budget.
Well,
yep.
So you're fighting to make your money back at that point.
Well, they'd have to make like $400 million to break even. So it's probably going to end its run at like 40 million. I think that's like globally. I don't even think that's domestically, which is like a big issue for like Disney, because their bread and butter is princesses. That's, you know, that's what they do, right? That's Disney. Like, you know, like Marvel came and like, you know, Pixar came and blah blah blah, but like at their core, Disney princesses is like their bread and butter, and to be failing that badly at that kind of thing is like, there is some serious issues going on there. I've also heard it's a horrible film. Like, it's just not good, the music's not interesting, and blah blah blah, but yeah, it's weird, because, yeah, I'm trying to think of a comparison of another company where it's like, if you were messing, it's like Coke if Coca-Cola, like, it's like Coke if they did, you know, New Coke again, right?
That's just funny, though. But what's so wild with Disney is if you had failure after failure like that, like, if all I did all year was lose the company money, I don't even think I could get to a year. You know what I mean? But you let go.
Yeah.
Like, there's like no firings or anything you're hearing about, at least. It's like, wow.
Well, the thing is like, they make most of their money off of parks. And a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you know, so what? They make all their money off of, like, parks and other parts of Disney. It's like, yes, but Disney is like an ecosystem where the movies attract people to come and buy the merch. They attract people to come to the parks, you know.
Expand the park from the characters in the
Yeah,
movies.
it's an ecosystem. So when part of your ecosystem starts to falter, it impacts other parts of your ecosystem. It's like a crumbling effect, and a lot of people don't understand that, because they're like, oh, so what if the movies don't do bad, or do bad? It's like, well, that hurts your business, because then you're not selling the merch, you're not getting people into the parks, you're not getting people on the cruises. It hurts your whole business, essentially. And what Disney is happening, it's like, I don't think they would get rid of the guys right away, because, you know, Disney has been super profitable over the last decade. Like, they've made so much money. But, like, they have these investors that are starting to buy up shares. And they're going to be pushing to change the way Disney's run. And they're trying to buy more and more or get more and more people on their side so that they can change how Disney as a company is run. And the core guy, Iger there, who set up this mess that's happening at Disney before leaving and then coming back, is trying to fend that off while also trying to fix what's wrong with Disney right now. And it's a nightmare. For them. Yeah, for them. But it seems like they're kind of leaning into it because they've, they greenlit... I think they greenlit Young Avengers, and, they're reshooting Captain America 4 for longer than the movie was actually shot for. They're, doing another, 6 months of, production on it, which is crazy, and it's going to make that movie cost too much. And then... what else were they doing? There's some other things where I was like, why are you greenlighting this? They're kind of, it looks like they're leaning into the issues instead of trying to fix the issues, and I think that's only going to make it worse.
That's what doesn't make sense for Disney as a company to me, is well, I don't know. At what point are you just dying, in something that's not working, claiming everybody else is the problem? Obviously no one is buying into whatever product they're trying to sell. Not even the people they're trying to sell it to. Nobody cares. At some point, you got to realize it's just, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Fads, the 2010s are not popular now.
Mm-hmm. Well, things also have their times. And I'm just thinking we're seeing the end of the superhero genre. We were talking about superhero fatigue a year or two ago on our streams. Or actually, probably over the last couple of years. But I didn't think it would be so immediate. This seems like an immediate rejection of that kind of thing. And I'm actually wondering if, you would think next year Deadpool would be a guaranteed success, and I'm kind of maybe thinking it won't be.
Well, it would be really interesting. I don't know this at all, obviously, but if Deadpool ended up being really successful, what would that say about everything?
They would probably double up on the remaining successes and then burn people out of those even further.
Well, then it would kind of show more what people wanted to see.
I don't think companies usually take the right context out of things. I've heard interesting things about that one from rumors, and I don't know if that one is even necessarily shaping up. It sounds like another multiverse movie.
Oh, really?
Because he's going to destroy the Fox X-Men universe or something. I don't know.
Just have it that in the end he crumbles the entire universe. I don't know. That'd be kind of a funny take on it. Oh, the tornado.
Well, did you not see that one set piece? They've got Deadpool fighting Wolverine in front of the X or the Fox logo that's sunken in the sand, Planet of the Apes.
The movie's really aware of itself.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I guess that's the
Deadpool,
Deadpool movies. No, I don't know, because there was a product that sold with, we talked about it before, but charismatic characters that could sell it. And I feel like if you had those type of characters again, but maybe it is just dead with that those guys moved on, because even if you got characters that were more in line with the original Iron Man and that again, it would always be compared to Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Or it would look so try-hard if they brought him back,
Yeah, I don't think that would fix things either.
That would end up being... Yeah, right? So, maybe it could just honestly be dead in the water, but my theory would be where they could have kept it alive, they failed to, by trying to take everything in a total different direction, as in oh, well, you guys have never seen this before, everybody's got to like it because this is brand new, when it's the Marvel movies was the same thing done over and over, and that was really what was successful, and maybe they could have milked it longer if they did it. Because even if you look at the shows, people were going to watch the shows expecting kind of the same thing over, and then they were getting really weird or cringy, like stories and that thrown at them, you know, and it was just kind of, well, what was this? You know, Marvel was never throwing this stuff out, you know.
I also think the shows have diluted the brand further.
Yeah.
And it makes people be like, well, I don't know these characters from these shows, and I don't want to watch these shows to understand this movie. Go get yourself a pie, Vaylander. You'll like it. Star Wars fatigue, bad movie fatigue. I don't know if it's even bad movie fatigue, because, like, I bet you if I watch the Marvels, which I'm just not going to, I bet you it's like what other people say it is. It's aggressively okay. And I think maybe the Marvel movies in general, a lot of them were just kind of okay, but we kind of were more like accepting to it, and then they started just doing more and more and more and more of the same, and it got oversaturated to the point like we just don't care. It's kind of like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Way too many, way too fast, and then it just killed it, right?
Actually, no, that's a fair point. Because like Guitar Hero and that was still going. There was, when we kind of hit their highs, we were really playing it.
Yeah, it just died because they put out like 4 Guitar Heroes and 4 Rock Bands a year, and it's like people just got tired of it. Too much, too soon, too fast.
Do you think they did the Fonzie though jump the shark game where it was the same thing over and over again? I always got a kick out of people like, oh, they find a villain, if he's hard to beat, has something on the character, they learn how to get over that, and they win. Well, yeah, it's superheroes, you know, it's even the comic.
Well, it's worse than that, you know, because its character fights a mere version of said character, but as a villain. And it's usually a weak plot, it's a weak setup, they have some laughs, there's no levity to anything, there's no twists, there's no turns, and then it ends with the villain dying. So there's no growth or anything either.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be mindless. Like, the story isn't so much that, like, oh, who's gonna die now? Or, oh, did you see that kid explode on camera? That's wild, you know?
Well, you're there for the characters.
Yeah, it is. You're there for the character and the fun along the way, and each movie's supposed to... that's where it's funny, I'm talking about, like, them throwing random morals that are kind of like, but, like, it's supposed to be little, like, small things. Like, even just, I feel like some of the morals thrown out were better than the newer ones. Like, even if you look at Iron Man 1, there's the whole point that I've seen a lot of like videos or whatever showing Iron Man talking about like, oh yeah, military industrial complex, baby. But like the whole point of the first movie is that he's so pro military industrial complex, and then in the end he doesn't even want to do it anymore, you know. He's
cool and excited about it until he actually sees what is being done.
Yeah, just even the cheesy line. I've seen good men and women killed by the very weapons I made to protect them. You know, like, yeah, even just the whole little side thing of him, like, hey, are we double dealing with, what's it, I can't remember the bad guy's name.
Or something.
Right? Like,
Alpaca?
Yeah, something like... Oh, yeah, and the whole thing of like, oh, we're double dealing. He's like, we always have been. Ooh. You know, like it's... Yeah, like neat little commentary on stuff where, and like that's not even so much the whole point, but it's the little growth in the movie with a cheesy little message, and that Robert Downey Jr. nails the character.
He's charismatic,
he's fun. Yeah, exactly.
Enjoyable to see in the character. Like, he's there's serious moments, but he's still having a laugh, and he's still still light, and then it's just like became like a joke over time.
Sort of thing, yeah. And actually, with the humor of it, is you can almost see where the movies became more and more of a joke of itself. Like, and literally to the point of Endgame, it was just, oh, okay, let's show all the things that no one ever did. You know, even just like Captain getting Thor's hammer.
It's fan
like,
service.
If you're going to be a big... Yeah, total fan service. Like, if you're supposed to go all old school comics, Captain America, even if he was... worthy, should never be able to because he's like not Thor, yada yada. But it was just like, oh hey, give Captain the hammer. It's going to be a cool end fight. Now it's like with the multiverse, it's so overdone And instead of doing 1 or 2 movies of, oh, hey, the multiverse is neat, it's literally supposed to be the whole plot of, hey, anything goes. And it's like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no direction. There's nothing. There's like no build up too. And I do want to talk about the Marvels, the way that one was marketed. So like, obviously they knew the movie wasn't very good, but they came out with this like desperate trailer beforehand where it's like they've got a new audio thing. I don't know if they AI'd that or if they had, you know, Brolin come in to do another Thanos line where he's like, you know, others will try to do my work or something like that out of nowhere. And then apparently the villain did nothing like Thanos at all, and ghouls weren't even the same. But, you know, they were using like old characters to try to get you in. It was just desperate, and it felt so desperate. And then on top of that, okay, 1 second. I had it like lined up, and then we kind of went astray on that one. Okay, yeah, no, right, I got it again. So then the other point of it was they were having all these people, I think they were like astroturfing like websites and stuff and online. But they're like, oh, it's fun, fun, fun. That's all you heard is it's fun. It's a fun movie. So it's like it felt really like overly advertised. But the biggest advertising point they kept trying to push, or have everyone push that saw it and gave early reactions, or anybody that was on any of those, you know, realistic reviews and stuff, everybody was like, you know, it's all about the end credits. And it's like, it's more about what comes after the movie than the movie you're there to watch. Like, I thought that was so stupid that when I was reading people were positive about it, but they're like, it's got such a cool mid-credits. And it's like, yeah, but you're there to watch the movie. You're not there to watch the end credits. Like, I don't watch a movie to go watch a sequel. Like, I watch that movie to see that movie. And I think I complained about that when we watched Dune, was I was like, this is the most first part of a movie I've ever watched.
Come see the second movie, yeah.
And I don't like that, because I'm there to watch a story. Like, I pay money, good money, it's like particularly nowadays to go to a theater. You pay good money. You expect to be entertained, and you expect to see something from that movie. But like the Marvels, the only marketing was, you know, the next thing. And it's like, well, I'm here for this thing now, and if I don't like this thing now, I'm not gonna go watch that next thing. It's stupid. Yeah. Star Wars? Yeah, I'm so tired of Star Wars. They got like, what, 3 shows or something coming out next year?
Oh, there's so many shows. I still love the one list because, like I told you, I got that buddy who works on the CGI with Disney. And I'm always so disappointed to talk to him because, like, he puts his heart and soul into it and grew up a Star Wars fan. Like, it's so... he's our age. So to grow up a Star Wars fan, you know, with us, you know, watching, you know, Revenge of the Sith and that, yeah, it would be so cool to tell you as a kid that, hey, you're going to get a job doing that. And then to get into it and be so excited about all these projects, and then whenever you get in, us and all the boys are like, eh. You know?
It sucks,
like,
dude.
Yeah, it sucks, but I don't know. Yeah, what was it? There was the list he showed when it came out. It was publicly announced, obviously, but like the timeline of it, and there was like all the proposed shows, and one was literally Star Wars Battle Droid, and I was like, wow. You're just, any idea that comes up, like, hey, let's make Star Wars Kitchen Sink, and you'll get an 8-episode series of Kitchen Sink on the Death Star. You know, like,
it dilutes the brand.
None of this is super. Yeah, well, it does. It really dilutes the brand with just random stuff that doesn't matter. And those movies killed it for me. Like, I still think The Force Awakens, that was like one of the top selling movies for, actually I think still is, and that none of the other ones are, is just a testament to the great con.
Episode 8 did really well.
It did it? That's shocking. It's still, like, I still,
that one did really well.
Was The Force Awakens.
Let's not try to retroactively, you know, change how the box office was on that one. That one did do well.
What's that say about The Last Jedi, that the third one did worse? That one did a worse job selling the series than The Force Awakens.
I think they always have like a natural trail off, the 3 of them. Well, actually, it's usually like, I'd have to look at the first 2 trilogies, but I believe it's usually the second one dips and the third one does usually better, at least in the other ones, just due to being like a conclusion.
Well, no, there are things like that. Like, I think of like The Matrix and that, but I like that there's a lot of things in The Matrix for the first 3 movies that, like, the story gets more off and off as it goes. And it's whether you liked what they were doing as opposed to like, okay, this is getting stupid. But like I don't know, yeah, like there's so many things we've talked about it before, but like Kylo Ren, he was just
Oh, you and your
my
Kylo
favorite
Ren.
comparison was, yeah. Well, that's it. Kylo Ren was like just the worst villain ever. Like I'll say the one thing: him smashing the computers, and I love the idea that one of the coolest villain writings ever is for Vader. When the one captains they lose the Millennium Falcon, he's don't worry, I'll apologize to him. You know, all posh British as the Imperial officers are. You know, and then I'll take full responsibility. And then a couple scenes go by, and then it just cuts to him, and a couple scenes later of him choking on the floor, and Vader's apology accepted, Captain Anita.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hilarious. You know, you do not tell Vader you're taking a sick day. You know, like that's the type of boss Vader is. What was it? The Robot Chicken sketch where Kylo Ren's mad and he's smashing the computers and
we're backing out of this.
walking by the stormtroopers.
I'm not playing the same map again.
And they're like, "Oh gosh, let's leave."
I love how he's really into that one guy bringing his daughter in.
Which
like in Robot Chicken, it's like Vader, and he's like, I've screwed it, Vader. I've got my kid here, and then Vader's like, he's choking the rebel. He's like, you made Gary miss this day with his daughter.
Yeah. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
That was awesome. And yeah, the other things, like I don't know, it's the way the original cast went, like the dirt they did. That what the funniest thing out of it all was Luke was so cheesy, but with Han and Leia, the big love story of the original trilogy, what ends up happening is they don't even talk to each other in the future. Like, what? That's what you got out of that? You know, they're a distant relationship where, you know, their kid's the biggest threat and they don't even like each other. Like, jeez. You know?
Just accept it. Just like I hopefully accept more of your likes on the stream. Ho ho ho! Subscribing's great, donations cool. Consider becoming channel member. Channel member gifting, the Patreon option, and the Discord for stream alerts. There's also the Amazon store affiliate link if you're into that. And yes, I would always go to the theaters to watch Tobey Maguire and another Spider-Man. So there's certain things people always go out to watch, but I do wonder if they've even damaged those movies from reaching their full potential. Because, like, Guardians 3 was the only success Disney had this year, but it actually underperformed in comparison to Guardians 2. It didn't make as much money. I think it had a higher budget, too. Must be pretty worrisome, too, because they obviously, you know, they got rid of James Gunn, and now he's heading up the opposing department. I think his Superman movie is going to bomb. Would you go watch a new Superman movie? I don't think I'd watch that. Do we lose every... Oh, no, we're Breakthrough. We're playing Breakthrough. Sorry, because I was like, did we lose every position already? I'm like, we've been playing for like 10 seconds. I was like, how did we lose all the spots? Okay, we're good. We're good. Because I'm thinking of earlier, I was like, man, we suck.
Yeah. Oh, Breakthrough on this map. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyways, not to derail our chat, but...
Oh,
freaking hell. Ah, man.
You know, that's the funny thing with the Marvel movies too, is it loses, it gets like a momentum, like a momentum in the opposite direction. That Guardians, I still haven't seen Guardians or Ant-Man, even though I was actually kind of interested in
I like Ant-Man as a character.
Like Al about, like, you know, I wanted to go see that, but you know, you get so much hate following it. The other products you see are so mad, and it takes you out of it. So I don't know. Maybe if I went and saw Guardians 3, I'd really like it. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
I just have like complete disinterest in watching any of it, which is hilarious because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. No interest in watching 3. Love Ant-Man. Probably more so than other people. No interest in watching the third one. It's weird too. It's like, yeah. I was gonna watch Ant-Man and then I just kind of never did. And after it came and went, I was just kind of like, I don't feel like I missed out on anything. If that makes sense.
Oh, and you're not getting the major hype from everybody too. Of
you gotta see it.
Oh, did you check it out? You know, yeah.
That's a big thing too, is that word of mouth is bad. seen the Disney statement yesterday? It's really not that big of a deal, Zero. It's just what did he post yesterday? The Disney said their fans are gonna have different thoughts than they are on things. That's just what companies say to investors. It's not even like that big of a deal or statement thing there. Honestly, you're overblowing that, Zero. People complaining, fighting over Kylo.
Oh, what? You got fans?
It's mixed.
It's mixed? Oh,
It's
okay.
mixed. Well, see, the thing is
I
like
was
episode 7, I really enjoyed at the time because I was like, new Star Wars, new Star Wars. But like, it really is.
Oh, you were so hyped over it.
Well, it's the
right?
newest,
Like,
first new Star Wars in like, you know, what was it, 10, 15 years or something? I was like, oh my fucking, I drove
we were getting
in negative 30, 40 degrees in a blizzard to go watch it the first day at like noon.
well, not just one new content, but 3 new movies. Oh gosh, I wonder how this is gonna go.
I was like,
and,
thank God more
all the
Star
original
Wars.
cast was still alive for it. Yeah,
And then I was just like, it just got worse and worse, and now I don't even like Star Wars.
I know. Yeah. It's to the point where I just don't even talk about Star Wars just to avoid the whole conversation. Or if you were to sit down and like, hey Kevin, let's let's just watch the first 6 movies. Sure.
Yeah, fun.
You know, actually, I have watched them. Yeah, they're fun, but yeah, it is to the point where I wouldn't proclaim myself a Star Wars fan, just not to discuss it with people. You know, like,
I just don't want to get into it.
that was the funniest thing though when we took our buddy and his girlfriend, and she was like, "That wasn't that good of a movie," and we were literally defending Star Wars as a brand of like, "Oh well, you know, that wasn't the best one." You know.
Oh my God, you know, I'm having like a weird flashback that I haven't thought of in a very, very long time. The Dark Knight Rises. I took a lady to go see that hadn't watched any other Batman movies. I had to like explain what was happening in the film. Was that what happened? Yeah, I think that's actually what happened with that one lady. That was a long fucking time ago. Yeah, I think it was The Dark Knight Rises, which is like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, you ever have to do that in a movie where you kind of like explain her? Actually, you know what? A better situation to compare it to is my buddy and I brought to, well, he and his gal, and I don't know, can't remember what it was. There's a gal I was chatting with or whatever. We went to see Our Lady Peace, and they played like all these new songs, and we were both sitting there the whole time being like, we swear they're a good band.
Yeah, that's hilarious, right? Oh, because they got really good music, but yeah, I couldn't tell you any of the
Not any of the newer ones. And this was a concert that was like probably slightly over 10 years ago. Like it would have been the Coca-Cola, like Stampede's Coca-Cola stage. But like we were sitting there like halfway through and we're like, we swear they're a good band. They're just not playing anything. They have a lot of really good songs. We're very serious. And, you know, they're being played. They're like, oh, it's cool, it's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not. These aren't good.
No, yeah, this is not the experience.
This is not what I expected. I'm so sorry about this. Please forgive this. Because it's hard when you like really put yourself out there and recommend something, and you bring someone along to something, and they just like,
and it's like
just meh. When you know yourself that it's meh while it's going on, is terrible.
Yeah.
That's a feeling I don't like.
Especially when you sell it up beforehand,
Yeah.
like, yo, you're gonna really enjoy this, like, yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't watch that. It's not for my generation. I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. CGI without storytelling? Well, I mean, if there's one thing they've always been struggling with, it's special effects in those films. I was probably one of the only people that was really, I think, complaining about like special effects in the Marvel films earlier. Like Black Panther, I kind of think that movie's like a little overrated, but also like in the third act, like the CGI is god awful. Like they look like if you go back and watch the fight, like the ending fights in Black Panther, they look like video game CGI from like the 2000s. Like it's really bad. Same with like, what is it, Infinity War and stuff? I'm like, you're gonna have like one of the internally rewatched movies that you're gonna sell on all these like services forever. It's like, why would you skimp out like Hulk? His head is just like floating on his body the whole. It's like it doesn't look right at all, and it's just weird. Mark Ruffalo in the Hulkbuster and Infinity War and stuff, and he's just like a floating head. Like it looks so disconnected. I'm like, don't cheap out on this. You know, it doesn't cost that much extra to make sure this looks right. But yeah, Black Panther, man. Like I don't know if you've rewatched it at any point or really thought about it, but like the CGI quality is horrible in that film. Like it looks just utterly fake, like cartoon-like.
That's funny. I don't mind bad CGI as much as other people, as long as it's only like every now and then in the movie keeps the flow.
Yeah, like
going.
I can overlook
Like,
stuff, but I was just kind of like, it took me out of that film where it's supposed to be super serious, and it's just like these toy dolls like floating across these fields, and it's like it's not realistic in the slightest. They look like they're floating, especially when we play games that look so like hyper realistic, and they don't have that sort. I don't know. It's just like cheap CGI to me is like an impact. It's not the end of the world, but like it really sticks out when so much of the stuff around it is really, really well done. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, like, I guess you would sound like a really old man if you said this, but I do kind of miss like more of the special effects. Like, obviously, there's been CGI, you know, since the 70s used every now and then. You get like Terminator and stuff like that. Yeah. Like,
well, back then they took
that far, but you know what I mean.
Well, back then it was more special effects that they layer on top of film. Now it's like basically every scene is literally CGI and just is special effects.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same. Oh yeah, I really miss chatting with about Star Wars and stuff with people, but like it sucks now. It really does. Like they've got all these shows coming, and I just could so care less about them. I liked the first Mandalorian season, and the second one I was kind of like, eh. And was there a third season?
Yeah.
Didn't watch it. Didn't watch Boba Fett. Didn't watch Andor. So uninterested in all that stuff. Like I keep hearing Andor is really great. I'm like, that's nice, and then just like, but I don't have any interest in it at all.
Yeah, I was boring at the beginning. Like, I've liked The Mandalorian, but I thought the story was really neat. Me and the gal talked about it, but I don't think Mandalorian would have sold nearly as well if it wasn't for the whole Grogu being food thing. Like, honestly, that took Mandalorian off. But I've kind of enjoyed the whole story the whole way through. Like, Mandalorians been neat since the Old Republic. You know, like...
Dude, we are getting no ground.
And it's... Yeah, no, it's over. But, like, I don't know. It's an interesting story enough to carry through. But, like, Boba Fett was horrible.
Oh, I've heard.
I'll still argue any time. Like, yeah, just the whole story of that, like, the Tusken Raiders was so cheesy. Boba Fett literally goes from... My favorite reference, Vader needs someone killed. He calls Boba Fett. He's got Boba Fett on speed dial. You gotta be one ruthless killer if a Sith Lord thinks of you. And literally has to remind you, it's like, yeah, like that's hilarious. What an awesome bad guy. But I do think it's Disney's thing that they just, for some reason, won't sell you on a bad guy.
No, you're not allowed.
And that's where I thought, yeah, right? And so if you're gonna make Boba Fett, he's gotta be likable. And Boba Fett goes from the no disintegration guy to really feeling bad for these Tusken Raiders. They're just misunderstood like everybody else, and you know, now he's going to be a crime lord, but not really so much a crime lord, but just a likable guy. Like, there's that one point where, and the modders were like the dumbest thing ever. You know, each single one had their own little colored speeder, and I remember talking to my buddy who
you know why that was done?
Work on Disney.
Why? That was the guy who does Spy Kids did that one. Directed that one. That's why it all looks like that.
And their little car chase scene was like, what, maybe five miles per hour? You know, like, I feel like you could have ran and pulled dude out of the speeder. And that it ended in a cheesy 80s sitcom. Yeah, puts his arms up. Oh no! boy crashes into the fruits. Like, are you kidding me? Who is this for, buddy? And that's where, my buddy who works at Disney had all his friends in that in the Discord we were in. And the one guy's like, so do they call the modders based off the 1950 British bike gangs, that speeder bikes like that? And he's like, yeah, that's exactly it. And buddy was like, let's go. And I was reading this like, are you for real? That is like the lamest fact and the lamest reference you could ever make ever in Star Wars. You know, like, I just it's so lame, dude.
Oh, it was also lame. Are we getting this?
Yeah, we got it, man.
Really? After we just frickin' like did suicide? Like, I was prepared to go on to the next map. This map sucks. But like, I don't know. It's like, I look at all these Star Wars shows, and what was it? There was people celebrating on Twitter and stuff the other day that Filoni there, you know, the guy with the cowboy hat and stuff, who I kind of initially liked, and they're like, okay, now he's going to be chief creative guy, so he's going to be on the floor for every Star Wars project going forward. And I was just sitting there being like, I don't like this at all, because all that guy does is, like, every Star Wars property now is just like self-referencing and like nostalgia bait. Remember these characters? And that guy has like the worst obsession with his Clone Wars characters. And it's like he's actually gotten to the point where I'm not interested in Ahsoka anymore as a character. And I always thought she was like one of the most interesting characters in Star Wars. And I'm tired of her. I don't have interest in her and her little group of characters. And that's all this guy cares about, is this little grouping of Star Wars and just shoving them into everything. And every single property that he's like kind of creatively helped out on is just like self-referencing nostalgia bait. And I'm just like, oh god, he's going to be controlling stuff even more? I'm like, that's terrifying. I don't like it.
Well, it's funny because I guess it depends who it's for. The Clone Wars cartoon, probably going to get hate for this one, but I never really watched, never really cared for.
When it was great, Kevin.
It was kind of coming... it was all right. When I went to go watch it, because everyone was like, "Hey, check it out."
But when did you watch it?
The first couple episodes were really made for children. Like a year or two ago.
That's
I
your
didn't
problem.
watch it growing up. I skipped it. Yeah. Well, that's it. So I didn't have that nostalgia. And then going back watching it, was like, eh. And people referencing, oh well, it gets better more into like the politics and the war. Yeah, and I think that's great and all. But then I talked to people, and there were certain things in it that never went with. I really feel the Star Wars I grew up with, and I think it's funny when you get like a 50, 60-year-old that's not the same storyline. I get things change, but I think it's funny that it's only been like 10 years, you know, actually I guess like closer to 50, but that's enough time to where like most of the story is very different. Like one of the worst ones that I've mentioned before, but the inhibitor chips, it completely, that was horrible. And I was once again Disney going with, you couldn't like bad guys. That, you know, Rex and Cody and all these names, they couldn't honestly have been likable people, but soldiers willing to do anything. And yes, they will turn on you because those are the goddamn orders. And I love the political message in that, and the whole Emperor Palpatine. You know, it's a really beware of over authoritarian.
Yeah, that's the theme.
Moves and stuff. Yeah, it's actually a great little message to convey to kids you're watching it that sticks in your head. But yeah, they changed it. There's the one meme that was showing, Ahsoka, oh, we can't hurt the stormtroopers, and then it shows Yoda killing them all. And it's like, wow, Yoda's really unforgiving. And I've actually argued with people that it actually makes Yoda look like a bit of a jerk. That he was just willing to kill these guys.
Looks like a maniac.
When the original movie was, he looks like a maniac. But when the original movie was made, Yoda didn't trust the clone troopers at all because he knew there's nothing good about giving an army directly to one guy under his orders, which is actually kind of a little bit of a Hitler reference with what he did. You know, with the armies and that. So, like, it's got historical context to it. But, yeah, Yoda doesn't trust them. And the minute the clone troopers start killing off Jedi and that, because he was kind of like, go figure. He knew this was coming. And he was killing bad guys that were okay with shooting younglings because that's what they were told. And then the story changes, and now it looks like the Jedis are jerks. And I really wasn't big on that change. Little things, yeah.
That's right. We do talk a lot about Marvel and Star Wars.
How about the weather? No, I'm joking.
It's nice out. It actually is. Krampus is back in Modern Warfare 3. I don't really care too much about that, I guess, but cool, I guess. I don't know. Have I seen Spaceballs? Of course I've seen Spaceballs. Comb the desert!
Spaceballs is hilarious.
This is stupid! He said comb the desert.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, that's the plot of the Marvels, eh?
Really?
Yeah, Spaceballs. That's what the villain does.
Really? That's the plot?
She tries to suck the air out of the planet.
Because they need more air.
Well, that's how she destroys planets, I guess. Is she? Oh wow, my game crashed.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so her attack thing, I guess, is to take the air or the atmosphere out of planets. I'm like, that's the plot of Spaceballs.
That is the plot of Spaceballs. That and going ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous. Well, it was like when I heard
We'll
Frozen 4 got announced, and I was like, what is it going to be called? Frozen 4? The search for like Frozen 3 or something? Or what did they call that? Spaceballs?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Spaceballs 2, the search for
The
more
search
money.
for more money. Oh god. I don't know if that was a joke or not, but I heard at one point that was what Borderlands 3 was gonna be Borderlands 4, the search for Borderlands 3 or something. Or
See, that's a funny reference. Should I back out?
I'll see if I can join.
Okay.
I'm in a queue 1 of 1. We'll give it a second, see if we can go right back in there. Yeah. Well, of course I've seen like Spaceballs as a classic. Blew your mind and this stuff. Well, yeah, it was a good plot, the whole turn of the dark side. Like episode 3 is a good movie, and then the Clone Wars later episodes actually really do supplement that film really well. Just like you guys supplement the stream well with your likes. So be sure to like the stream. Subscribing's great. Donations cool. Consider becoming a channel member. Channel member gifting and the Patreon option. There's the Discord for stream alerts and the Amazon Starfleet link. You should be grabbing anything on there. Yeah, I'm still in a queue here, so I guess we should back out of this unless it's going to put me through. No, it doesn't look like it. We'll give it a sec more, I guess. Yeah, this game loves crashing. So you had one crash. I had one crash. I hate that thing where Xbox added the ask to join. That is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Why? I can't believe they wasted engineers' time on that. Why would you ask to join someone? Same with the play without joining. Kevin's playing Battlefield? I should like play it, but oh, I'm joining it now. I should play it, but I should not play with Kevin. It's like, couldn't you just load up the fucking game yourself instead of going onto your friend's gamer tag and be like, in what world is that like a thing where it's like, huh, my friend's playing this game. I'd like to not play with him.
Oh, I love the very timid ask system where it's, yeah, you go to play and then it's like, ask them if you want to play.
That's what we're
It's
just
like,
joking
well,
about.
isn't that what I'm doing by trying to invite him? You know, like...
Ask to join. Can I do that while I'm in the match with you?
Like super overly polite. One of my favorite things. Have you ever watched the Doctor Who?
Nah, I have no interest in
it's
Doctor
weird.
Who.
No, okay, no, that's fair. But like, there was a little bit there where I watched a bunch of it with
Which
the gal
era?
and kind of enjoyed them. From so the modern.
Which
era.
Doctor
So
specifically?
From, I cannot remember the actor's name. I don't think he did such a bad job, but the guy that was the Dark Elf in Dark World, Thor.
Cabaldi? The old guy?
No, not Capaldi. I can't. He was basically the leader of the Dark Elves in the second Thor movie. He's done a couple other
Matt
things.
Smith? He's like a weird looking dude?
No, yeah, I know all that. Yeah, but like
He's not Tenet where he cries in the rain, is he?
No.
Okay, so Matt Smith.
Yeah,
then.
no, there's no, it's
No,
not
it was Matt Smith?
either, because it goes No, there's the guy I'm mentioning. Then it goes Tenet, Matt Smith, Capaldi, whoever the newer gal was.
Jodie
I stopped
Foster?
at Capaldi.
Was it Melissa Foster?
Capaldi was horrible.
That
Was it?
sounds
I
right.
don't know. Like, yeah. Well, that Tenet was actually my favorite, and it's funny because before I knew Tenet as the Doctor, I knew him as the Harry Potter guy. Hello, Father. Yeah! With like, it was such a bad performance, but he was really good as the Doctor. But anyways, there's the one scene with the one gal's the British Prime Minister, and they're criticizing her taking England's security. And dude basically gets up there and he's like, you know, you are the absolute worst leader I have ever seen. You should not have your job at all. And I think you should actually go home and cry about how horrible you are. And she like looks at him and is like, you know, sir, I respectfully disagree. Like it was so
British.
stiff upper lip British. Yeah, it was incredible. I can't even do it justice, but it was like to absolutely dunk on someone as a human being and have them just be like, you know, I have to disagree. You know, it was just incredible. But anyways, that's how the new invite system strikes me. You know, it's like way overly polite.
Have I been playing Halo Infinite lately? No. But Battlefield am I gonna miss? Probably the Bad Companies. Inglorious. We've seen all those movies. We're well aware of these films. Okay, I gotta check something because I think somebody gifted me. Kane2222 gifted me The Walking Dead Destiny.
No.
That's why.
That's lit. Oh, and someone made that profile?
Oh god, what was it? I got sent. I think it's Filet. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Filet. Like, he gifted me as the Gollum experience or Gollum gaming. He gifted me the King Kong game. I was like, why?
That is awesome, dude. Now you have to play it. It was
Yeah,
gifted.
now I have to play it.
Absolute worst. We're playing and we're Stellaris, Stellaris, whatever, but I think it's Stellaris. But we were all really into it, and we were asking our one buddy in the group who plays with us all the time, but he was sitting out, you know, kind of watching because he doesn't play the strategy games. So our one other really good buddy was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get it for you. You know, you come play with us. And he was like, no, I don't think I will. He's like, no, just try it. Buys him the game, and we all laugh about it because he never even touched it. He still has 0 hours played. He spent like 40 bucks to get him this game. No, didn't even install it. Just honestly, if you took 40 bucks and threw it into the wind, it probably would have did more good in the planet than what, you know, that's for, it's just absolutely hilarious. So.
That freaking kills me. Well, that's the gifting thing. Actually, did you get gifted a game at one point? Dead Rising.
Oh, geez, I think, yeah, I think I was gifted Dead Rising, and I played it, because, yeah.
We should do a stream on that. Dead Rising 3, right?
I think that was it, yeah.
Yeah, we should stream that one at some point. Because we did that. Did we do Dead Rising?
Yeah, we did the first. No, you can't do the first. We did off the record.
That was fun.
That was actually really fun.
Yeah, I like doing that one.
Actually, yeah, that was another like campaign-based storyline we did. One of my favorites to go through though was the Halo series.
Yes.
Sitting there like, oh, okay, hey, are you ready for Halo 2 tonight? It was like, hell yeah, you know.
Although I think we embarrassed ourselves in some of them.
There was a couple, and like time-wise, where we weren't hitting the 3-hour mark. I can't remember which one it was, because there was a couple where we absolutely nailed it. Like I think it was ODST. We finished in like an hour and a half, something really.
Yeah, ODST
quick.
we did really good at, I think. Was it Halo 2?
It was Halo. Yeah, it was. I want to say it was Halo 3. No, yeah, Halo 2, because where the Civil War breaks out in the Covenant, we got stuck. Yeah.
Which is funny. I think maybe Halo 1 we also had some issues with at certain points.
Did we?
Yeah.
We nailed that one. I can't remember.
Left 4 Dead stream. Left 4 Dead streams never do well. They
That's
never do.
hilarious because like, it's still one of the bigger play games on Steam. Blew me away that one time. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna check it out, and it had like 58,000 people on it just playing.
It's a good game.
All forces evacuate the area.
It's a very, very good game, which is why it always does well. And they always put it on sale for like $5. Yeah, and then the modding too helps a lot too.
That's when I got it, was when it was $5. Oh, hilarious! I had only a couple bucks left, you know, going in between checks. The North American dream, you know.
Paycheck to paycheck.
But our one, yeah, paycheck to pay. You know it. Yeah, that's what's up. Our one buddy really wanted Hearts of Iron, and I told him I'd get it for him the last time, but I was like, oh, I didn't have enough. He was like, oh man, come on. And I know I'm not obligated to, but like he's a good buddy, and that's where it was like, all right, I'll get it for you. I paid like the 40, 50 or whatever for it, and then that's for 2 days after. Did it on the 19th, 21st hits Hearts of Iron, $14 on sale. It was like, wow,
I think you ended up as party leader.
Oh,
Yeah, so breakthrough
That's funny.
and then just regular breakthrough. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Should I just make you party
It
leader?
does not matter, I don't think.
Does not matter. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think for this one it matters at all. Well, actually, the last Left 4 Dead we did was pretty good, stream-wise. But I think that's because I did Left 4 Dead 1 on the Series X. I think that had good after viewership after, is what I'm looking. Yeah, it had good after viewership. Gotta watch that. Sometimes the streams, they don't do well during, and then afterwards they, like, pick up. Which is better, actually. It's more profitable.
How did the Hell Let Loose stream go?
Horribly.
Oh, did
That
it
was, like,
really?
god-awful. We should have waited, because they're doing an update to it, aren't they?
They usually get a lot of.
No, like, there's one, like, literally, I think, next week, the 14.5 update.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny. There's the one I'm really looking forward to where they're going to add the finish for the Winter War.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen that covered.
Why?
Except for one game that I can't
Are they
remember.
putting us on this fucking awful map? Can we back out of this?
You don't like
I hate
this?
Manifest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's okay. I like it more than Discarded, but, like, this is, like, the third time they've tried to put it on us tonight. Oh, can I, like, back us out of this? Abandoned battle.
Are you with me here?
I think I ended up as party leader. So okay, here we go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see if we can get a different map, maybe.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Oh no, maybe I'm not party leader. Am I?
No? Okay.
Are you party leader?
Picking right now. Does it show us all together?
I can't even tell. Like, it said I was party leader for a second there. You're party leader. I just try it. Cancel. Cancel, Kevin. Not Manifest again. Alright, fuck it. We'll just play it. Oh no, you canceled. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just no lobbies. Ah, screw it. We'll just play it. Terrible map. Back for Blood. I liked Back for Blood. That did pretty well for streaming too. Yeah, I like Back for Blood. I had fun for it. I think we're just gonna have to stick with it, Kevin. I think it's the only map.
Okay, sorry. I was willing to mess with it for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna stick us in this one. Why does it keep picking this level? It's just horrible.
All right. So what? Is it that it's just the easiest one to connect to, or is it really doing an issue?
I think it's just like random. Well, there's lots of. Well, the whole point of the stream really is I wanted to show you like the levels that have been redone or the new levels. And this is like the
we're
one
just
map
getting
that they
the same
didn't like touch at all.
We're counting on you. The rest of the world is
And it's a terrible fucking map.
command out.
Like the Swedish map is cool, the Canadian map is cool, and it's just this map is god awful. It's legitimately a terrible level.
Every sector we advance, the Russians
Ugh.
will fall back.
Anyways,
Take your
You're getting out of the chopper with like an honest to God American soldier guiding you out, like in the Air Force, and then you get all these like funny looking like operators jumping out.
hey man, the U.S. is
That's
just
funny.
fighting a proxy war with their depleting natural resources.
Is it ever?
You know, in this economy,
Yeah. Right. Does anyone even play Portal or?
oh, Portal
Is that
mode.
bad?
Oh, I have no idea how that one took off. Remember, we thought that was gonna be a big thing that like carried between battlefields, and they were gonna like keep updating it, and they haven't added anything.
I thought it would be huge. there's actually no reason for it to be huge. I would really thought it would be a selling point even if the base game sucked. But like they limited it that you can't do Battlefield 4, and I like that point that they don't want Battlefield 4 to be really sold because EA doesn't want to sell China as an enemy, so that they can sell it in China. Yeah, and that Battlefield 3 they gave you like 2-3 maps, and my initial thought with it was that so they wouldn't beat out the base game. But at this point now, I don't know if they've added it, but why wouldn't you just add every Battlefield 3?
Well, they haven't added a single
Battlefield
thing
3
to Portal.
Play Modern.
Nothing.
Oh, they haven't added
Not
anything?
a single
So
thing.
yeah, like what a joke. If this game was doing so bad, you think you would just sell it as Battlefield Portal with a new addition to it or whatever?
No, they wanted to lean in on fixing the main game instead of... Because the idea is to get you to play the new stuff, because they make more money selling you skins and everything, right? The new Creed?
Yeah,
I did.
and we know that.
Lots of content of Creed on the thing. Spearhead, aka IKEA. Yeah, Caleb knows what's up. I was telling Kevin about that. I'm like, it's an IKEA factory.
Yeah.
is what that map is. Because, yeah, it's just like...
Those 3D printers.
The Swedish 3D printing factories. And I'm like, oh, this is where they make all the IKEA furniture in the future. Because it's the only sustainable thing that we could... Because, you know, like IKEA's like sustainable and blah, blah, blah. Easy to make. And I'm like, that's exactly the type of thing you would 3D print. I'm like, that's... And you know it's in Sweden. So I'm like, yeah, it's fucking IKEA you're defending. And I'm like, not my obelope. Because, you know, they got the weirdest... IKEA. I need to go to IKEA. It has been a long time since I visited there. Yeah. The last time I did Battlefield 5. I don't know, like a year and a bit? We stopped playing that one because there's no one... There's not enough players. It's too dead. That one, Battlefield Hardline I cut out this year too. Call of Duty World War II I think I'm going to have to cut out after last night. There's just... Like, it's playable.
Oh, no one checked it out?
Like, no, it did okay for streams, but, like, there wasn't enough people in the game. Like, it's... Like, it was playable, but it wasn't, like, you know, some of the lobbies sometimes are, like, half empty, and it wasn't... Yeah. It's still fun. I love playing Call of Duty World War II, but it's just, like, there's not enough players in the game to really, like, sustain.
Too much time has passed.
And Hardline, you can't even get a full match anymore of anything in that one.
Oh, really? I thought it was funny the couple times you're like, hey, let's go play Hardline. I was like, really?
It's kind of like a fun, different one, because it's like Cops and Robbers Battlefield.
It's not bad.
It's different. But that's the issue with doing the streams, is like trying to find different stuff that's like still playable. Man, this map just fucking sucks, dude. Terrible ass level. I just keep getting shot from people on top of the shipping containers in the middle. It was funny, it's like playing 1943 earlier today, and that game just like blows us out of the water. Like,
yeah, I love
it.
that.
It really does. It actually like blows this one out of the water. It's funny, because I think, and I got a video for that coming up, I think tomorrow, guys, for 1943. But what I was talking about in that Battlefield is like something that this game really struggles with is in 1943 there's always something happening every few seconds. And in this game you either just die instantly or you walk around for a bit and not a whole lot really interesting happens. And I think that's a problem.
Oh, it was really neat. It had the air battle mode.
Air superiority, yeah.
That, like, obviously...
Or was it supremacy?
Sorry, yeah, air superiority, which... Something like that. But yeah, you're like flying off the carriers as the Americans, and it was really fun.
I'm wondering if the reason we play Conquest in this is because it actually has players.
That's hilarious.
This sucks, dude. I'm just like spawning and dying.
But if this doesn't really have players, it kind of makes you think this game hasn't recovered as much as some people would say.
Unless everyone's just in Conquest.
Fair enough. I always liked Breakthrough more.
It's the better game
What
mode.
was it? Rush initially? Yeah, it's more concentrated fighting.
Conquest for me was always like, I was a little confused because you just, maybe not confused, but I always found Conquest awkward because you're just sort of like roaming around and you're not really, there's no direction or focus. Or Breakthrough was always good. Same with Rush, because there was specific things you were working towards. Because it's like, to me, Conquest is kind of almost like a team deathmatch. Basically, team deathmatch with extra steps. Yeah. 128 is back. Oh, in this economy? Yeah, I think we did that last stream, right? And we were saying that they took out 128 player Conquest as well, and I was like, well, this game is not what I bought at all. That was so funny, because yeah, we were joking about it. They took out 128 players in Conquest for like a limited event or something. And I was like, that's literally the reason that I was interested in this one, was because it was huge battlefield, and they just totally removed it. That is hilarious. We have 75 tickets left. Oh my, 75% of our tickets left. Ugh. Well, you know, if you think about it, the Russians are a good sport, because all the other countries get so offended if you make them the bad guys. But I don't even really believe the Russians as like a big opposing force anymore, which that makes the games a bit of a joke. And then China you can't do because that's too, you don't want to upset them because you want their money.
Because they're not good sports.
They're not good sports about anything.
But honestly, that's the funny thing with it, is if you did one of the Canadians as the bad guys, I don't think I would be, you know, hurt by it.
It'd be great.
It would be like, oh no, why do you view my... Yeah, it would be great. It would be hilarious. That, oh yeah, you could even have the opening of the game is that the Canadians have
somehow
turned into the most authoritarian government of the game. Yeah, somehow the Canadians have returned. Yeah.
Somehow the Canadians are an opposing force to America. Somehow.
First England, Australia, then Japan, all falling under the Canadian wing. Who will stop them?
They beat them with great healthcare and social services.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that would be hilarious.
Well, that's...
Like, yeah, if I'm a Russian playing a game, do I necessarily care? I might even
find it funny, probably.
Hell yeah, you know, sort of thing.
Those games even sell well and stuff in Russia. They don't give a damn there.
Yeah,
but there's, what was it, the Homefront games where it's like Korea has taken over, that unified and took over America, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, how? That was the worst part with the new Red Dawn movie. I thought that was going to be so cool, and I saw it was North Korea. And actually, a neat little thing that my gal was telling me is that they initially wrote it for China, then changed it to try sell it in the Chinese market.
Yeah, because the China money was big then.
Yeah, but...
and you don't want to offend China because you want to make money there. Except Hollywood China movie money is kind of gone now.
Our forces are advancing to take Alpha 2.
Oh, just funny, but yeah, I'd be for it. The one that was really cute was Ghost Recon Wildlands, where I guess the Bolivian president or something, like one of their ministers, came out and made the statement that they didn't like Wildlands because it puts a negative view on their country. And I wish I would stand up and say that, like, look, you probably got tourism and people who would have no clue that your country ever existed without playing Wildlands.
Yeah, the new games, they're tourism things. Literally, Horizon 5 is made in partnership with the Tourism Board of Mexico.
Hilarious, right?
Yeah,
like...
literally the game opens up with, like, in partnership with that. Canadians are the bad guys in Trepang, a Canadian corporation. Well, that's not the same as Canada as a country.
Yeah.
But I should play more of Trepang now and get that one finished. Canadians are the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, what's it with Deus Ex Human Revolution? What's it? I think it's Elise, I think it's Elise. The supercomputer is based in Montreal. That's tricking the world. She's an AI that everyone thinks is a real person.
See, that works.
Yeah, I don't think that would. Yeah.
But like from a military perspective, it's like, because that was the funny thing in Homefront is like they're trying to like dance around the idea of like a unified Korea. Like I guess for what is it, Call of Duty Ghosts, they do the United Southern, like it's a Latin America.
South America.
And it's like that.
So even that's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but like it kind of works, because they went off the idea that because of all the oil production, and then they sneak attacked the U.S. and like crippled their like California, and I'm like, okay, that you know, I could see that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But like for the Homefront games, I had such a fucking hard time. Like that game was like Homefront: The Revolution was garbage. It was garbage. But like I could not grasp the concept. Because they create a whole storyline where it's like, oh, the Americans, the economy crashed and they relied on support and aid from like Korea, and then Korea started taking over. And I'm just like, they don't have enough people. Like,
right.
it's just,
yeah, it would have to be a unified like joint effort, you know.
like maybe like Asia,
yeah.
the entire continent. Or like China, I could see, but like South America, like even Ghosts, I thought that was kind of stretching it. But like the logic was sort of there.
Well, wasn't it that they ended up using like what was it? America ended up doing the Thor project or something, or
Odin Project, the giant thing. Like, they turned it against the Americans. They bombed California, which would really actually quite cripple the states, because a big part of their GDP is the Californian, you know, the state. So like that makes sense to a degree. And even then, like California, they're kind of like fighting over it. And it's not a bad campaign, that one. I'm surprised Call of Duty's never tried to do the alien thing.
It's actually funny. Well, didn't you say they were talking about like a medieval
Roman
Call of Duty at one point or something?
Roman,
yeah.
They were prototyping, but they thought that would make people confused about what the brand was. Wouldn't that be sick if like not every year it was a Call of Duty shooter, but it was like next year, what are they gonna do? I'm like, oh, it could be like a medieval warfare, or it could be like, that would have been sick. Just some variety would have been nice. Their umbrella corporation, so kind of like Deus Ex. But that's the thing though, is like Canada is totally cool with being the bad guy. We're totally, you know, we're fine with stuff. Honestly, we're great sports about all kinds of things. We laugh all kinds of stuff off. Like, you know, like, was it the South Park stuff? I think is just kind of like stupid silly, but I'm not like offended by it or anything, because you know the Canadians are always just like,
I would never. I think it's hilarious. I've actually had Americans like.
I'm just kind of like, whatever. I'm just like, okay. Like, I don't find it quite as funny as people seem to, but like some people expect you to be like offended over it. I'm just kind of like, I mean, if it's hilarious to people, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never bothered by
Oh,
it.
and it puts you on the map, right? To other people that would otherwise never care. I love that joke that Canadians would be quite disappointed to figure out how little Americans talk about us.
Right?
You know.
Comes up too often for us having American politics shoved into all of our Canadian stuff. Because I tell people about that I'm like, I don't... Like, I like the politics right now in the States, just because I don't have to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're so saturated in their media that
we talk more about like American politics than we do our own. I hate this map. This map sucks, dude.
I think I told you that one story, but it was absolutely hilarious. My buddy was on the dating site trying to meet a girl, and there was the one girl he talked to, and she was like, oh, so like, tell me about yourself. And he was like, oh, you know, I have 2 kids, you know, and like single dad, you know, just getting by. I was hoping to kind of get out into the world and meet people. And she was like, okay, but you know, like a really big thing I want to know is, are you Democrat or Republican? And I just started roaring, because it's like, we're liberal and conservative here. Democrat and Republican is American. And that you literally just told this girl that you have 2 kids. Yeah, that would raise a lot of questions. So how did that work?
Yeah.
Or, you know, you see your kids, are you a family man, all that. But no, like, you literally hear that information, and then you want to know what they believe in American politics. Like, oh my God, like, this is so stupid. Anyway.
Like, I mean, in a day-to-day, it's like, I don't really care what happens in the U.S. for politics.
Only in the sense that they're our big ally, we share a border, If something super big happens in the States, obviously it'll bleed over here, but not every little
Incident,
scandal
blah, blah,
they
blah.
have, yeah, is worthy of
The Americans are
mention,
having problems with some small country in the Middle East or something. It's like, okay, and what are we getting dragged into this time?
Yeah. Funny
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just like, I don't know. I just like that it's quieter. I don't really care what's going on. It's just that it's quieter is nice because I'm just tired of it. Actually, the biggest thing that I've noticed as an improvement in my life is when there was all those issues with Reddit. I don't use Reddit anymore. I just like don't keep up with things as much now, and I kind of love it. It's like an ignorance is bliss kind of thing. Cause yeah, were you around there for when Reddit was doing their big thing? They got rid of all the third.
You're saying, yeah.
So yeah, I just like I don't use it now. And like that's how I kept up with like day-to-day like issues and everything. And now that I don't have to, I'm just kind of like, this is kind of nice. I literally just like don't care. And it's like somebody will be like, oh, is this big political thing going on? I'm like, didn't really hear about it. And you know what? Not bothered. It keeps the mind clear.
Yeah. I always think there's a weird balance of like, to some degree, yeah, be informed. It would be really amazing if there was like
Wolfenstein, but
a
Canada.
vote happening in your.
Sorry, what do you think of Wolfenstein, but Canada?
Wolfenstein, but Canada. That's what I'm saying. It would be absolutely
that'd be
hilarious, right? Like.
Well, like for context, it's like I always talk about how great Bad Company 3 would have been, and the plot of that game would have been Russia invading through Canada. Because I'm just like, finally we get some Canadian levels, which would be so cool in Battlefield.
Well, I like references. There's in Fallout, it's referenced in all the games that we got annexed. In the great like World War III scenario, yeah.
I fucking hate this map.
I thought that was funny. One of the coolest things was walking in Fallout Tactics, and you'll get little events or whatever in bubbles that are like totally random. And there was the one where it was a bunch of people all standing around like in front of this theater, and you ask them what they're doing. They're we're gonna reenact. The uprising that was brutally put
the Canadian
down
uprising,
by the cowardly Canadians. Yeah, and the Canadian uprising in Edmonton.
Yep.
And that the Canadians are gonna wear pink because they were cowards, something like that. I just thought that was hilarious.
What an entertaining bit. You know what I was playing recently? The Slender Man: The Arrival, which has been a 3-generation game. It was on the 360, ported to Xbox One, and then remade on the Series X for this Halloween. It takes place in Alberta.
Sure. Really?
Yeah. The only thing that gives reference to that is there's one of the cars has an Alberta license plate.
Well, that's actually really neat, and it's kind of funny because like I love our beautiful mountains, but like
we're not playing on this map again tonight. This map, I hated that.
Fair.
That sucked. If it comes up again, we're going to Conquest.
What was it? I think it's Dead by Daylight. They have one of the killers that like him and his twin out in the Rockies in Alberta.
Yeah, and
I thought that was really
Until
cool.
Dawn takes place in the. I'm trying to think of the actual location, but it takes place in the mountains because there's a postcard from Calgary.
Oh, isn't that cool? See, yeah, like the mountains. That's so funny that like the mountains run all through BC too, but somehow Alberta gets mentioned the most. But yeah, like the Dead by Daylight was a cool reference because that would be really creepy to have 2 killers out in the Rockies because there's so much out
Quiet,
there.
it's desolate.
Yeah, exactly right. What was the one? My favorite reference was Ellerus, where if you do an Earth playthrough, and unless somehow it's different in a way, you can check it even right now, that if you make your playthrough where you're playing on the Sol system, it has a bunch of things for Earth that have happened over the years, and one's like the Great Sahara Project to like redo the Sahara Desert with life, and the other one's the Great Alberta Crater. And it's like in the year like 2077, the world thought it was going to end when a great meteor hit, but it didn't destroy all life, it just destroyed most of Alberta. I think that's hilarious.
I love those references so much.
I actually referenced a bit, eh?
Yeah, it comes up. Everybody seems to dislike the province so much, but we come up so much in games and like pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
I thought our biggest showcase was in Mission Impossible Fallout. We're on the map as a nukeable place.
Yeah, isn't that hilarious? Because it goes in with the joke. I've always told my friends if they ended up nuking Calgary, they missed.
Hey man, we're a major hub for this part of Canada.
Right. Actually, goes for the one joke. My dad was probably when I was a kid, like obviously the whole 9/11 thing, and everyone was in a huge scare of a terrorist attack anywhere, and they had on the Calgary Sun, possible spots to watch out for in Calgary for a terrorist attack. And I remember my dad joking as a kid that if a terrorist ever hit Calgary, he's lost.
He's in the wrong place.
In Ottawa or something. Yeah. Wait, this isn't Seattle?
We missed greatly. This is just so funny because it was like, I think it was Toronto and Calgary were like the two places on the map, and I was like, yes, we made the cut.
American soldiers and rebel nomads. Focus on the US, but watch your back.
Cyberpunk? What's the Cyberpunk reference for Canada? The zombie-based game in Canada? Oh, Dead Matter or whatever? That game, they like actually delisted after they like posted it. Yeah. Xbox Cyber Monday is just a common thing. I think they just do like deeper cuts on hardware, so it's not really worth revisiting for like one day Cyber Monday event, but yeah, it's just usually there's like deeper cuts on like hardware costs. Okay, this map is okay. I actually forgot this map existed.
Is this new or is this that one with the wall?
This is newer. You wouldn't have played this. You're thinking of Renewal, which is in Cairo. This is in like, I want to say in like Africa. It's like this is a hill map with like a refinery hill map.
What's that? Okay.
It kind of gets neat as you get higher up on it. It becomes more of a refinery. But yeah, you're thinking of Renewal. Which I like that map. I actually like Renewal quite a bit. The concept of going from like a really desert area over into like transitioning into like a green area, I think is really neat. Because that map, the idea is they were able to like, their hydroponics technology allowed them to reclaim the desert for like growable plants, which I think is a fascinating idea. And it would be really cool if that was like a real kind of thing you could do, because that would basically be the hanging gardens? Yeah, because the hydroponics in like a desert area, right? So
I'm not smart enough to say otherwise, but I don't see where that would be a negative in any way, right?
Well, yeah, it'd be a great thing if you could achieve that, but the biggest issue is like, yeah, sure, we can do like, Vegas, where you put a city up in the desert, you grow plants and lawns, but the big problem is water.
Well, I like that point that Vegas really started as like a big mafia town, where like you could go and do all these illegal things. Yeah, and that is the only reason it's around, is the like absolute like flow of cash in it. That there's, other than the gambling of Vegas, there's no reason for Vegas really to be there at all. There's no point to it. It's a total
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Money drainer to keep it going. Yeah.
And now they're a huge sports city.
Yeah, well, and that's just to sell the city.
Yeah, for tourism.
Kind of the funny thing with the Vegas Golden Knights is I always kind of like how many people are actual like super fans, or like you go there and hey, you want Vegas Golden Knight tickets, with your free.
I've heard they've actually got really good market penetration there.
Well, actually, what's it? They got the Las Vegas Raiders there. They literally sold the Oakland Raiders to them. But there was obviously one survey, but the survey I saw said that the Vegas Golden Knights were the favorite team in Nevada, which would be absolutely incredible, thinking that the Raiders are there, even if the Raiders aren't that great. And a lot of people do know the Golden Knights.
And they took the Athletics too.
Oh, they took the Athletics.
Yeah, for baseball.
So then, yeah, they got baseball too, which I know baseball isn't as huge as it used to be, but it's still big stuff.
Well, that means they just have all the sports teams now, right?
But I don't know how much like the the Golden Knights, like that's the funny thing with the Americans watching hockey and that is I have ran into big fans, and there was like even one guy I knew from from Tampa Bay, and he was talking about that. Yeah, he's a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan. Could actually reference, going back to our comp run versus them, which was hilarious. That wow, they actually are selling the sport there. But there's so many Americans that I talk to other than that. So to whether that hold on more and more as time goes on, yet to be seen. But a lot of them I talk to just know the big advertisements that you would see on like ESPN. Like there's so many, depending on age group. If you get a lot of our age group, you'll hear about Chicago. And I've heard people reference Chicago as this amazing team, like they're still winning cups to this day. And it's like, no, man, that's like a early 2010s thing. They had their incredible run.
Paying taxes in two countries at the same time. You shouldn't have to if you're working in the U.S. Have to pay taxes twice. We have treaties with the U.S. where you don't have to pay. Like, you only have to pay for taxes in one area. But I guess it depends on where you're earning that money specifically. But, like, yeah, we have a treaty with the U.S. Otherwise, I'd get absolutely just fucked for taxes. So, like, I think it's, like, India or something. They have, like, they take up to, like, 30% of what you make on YouTube. But Canada, we have a treaty with the U.S. So anything I make is not taxed. Because it's taxed here, not there. If that makes any sense to you guys.
That's funny.
So, like, I would, yeah, if you were, like, working in both cities, I mean, it might have been different then. I would have looked at the tax kind of rules on that, from what I understand. It's because we have that treaty, I don't have to, well, not from what I understand, that is how it is. Yeah, I don't have to get taxed twice, you only get taxed once. But I think that would be different if you were in, like, working in the U.S. making money, as opposed to being in Canada getting money from the U.S.
30% tax at YouTube, that's wild.
Yeah, well, like, it's already, you don't even make the full amount of the ad revenue, which makes sense because, YouTube, they pocket the good chunk of it, right? And then to take another chunk of that to be taken away for taxes, too, would be, like, a freaking nightmare. I mean, I do get taxed, right? Like, it's not like I'm not paying taxes, but I'm not getting, like, double taxed, if that makes sense. God, could you imagine getting taxed by the U.S. and Canada at the same time?
That would be rough. So what's it, isn't it like over 100,000 or something like that? You get taxed 53% or something ridiculous.
In, like, the U.S.?
Yeah, in Canada, here, isn't it? That, like, what's it, 43 something like? Yeah, I don't think it's 53, but it's like ridiculous numbers as you go up the tax.
Yeah, but then it stops at a certain point.
Like that. Yeah, there is a certain point where it stops, but actually I'm going to bring it back to sport. There's that whole thing in hockey where the Canadian overpay. That if you pay someone $5 million here, where they would get $3 million in the States, there's the argument that you have to give them $5 million for it to round out to 3.
Yeah, you got to do the even out thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dead Matter. Yes, Dead Matter. That game, like I just said earlier, was like supposed to be Calgary, and it was supposed to be a creation of Calgary as a zombie game. Then it turned into Alberta as a zombie game, and then basically they dropped it after years and years and years of like delays and blah blah blah. They dropped it on Steam a few months ago, and then they delisted it because it got such horrible responses, and they're gonna rework it.
That's too bad.
I was really looking forward to it, but I've heard it's pretty, like, bad. Like, it was really, really bad. Like, shovelware levels of bad. That's so disappointing.
Yeah. No, that sucks, because, like, you really need to play a game that was referenced to Calgary. I know I'll never get it, but I always thought, like, a Fallout game out of Calgary.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody wants their like local area to be recreated, but the whole point of it is it was supposed to be like DayZ, but in Calgary basically.
Okay, yeah. So
and it turned to Alberta because Calgary was too dense or something to make, and then that's what happened there. Oh, you lived in both, so you had to get taxed by both. Oh, that sucks. But you know what really sucks? Not liking the stream. Subscribing's great, donation's cool. Consider becoming the channel member you wanted to be. Channel member gifting, the Patreon option, and the Discord for stream alerts, chat, and great times. There's also the Amazon store for you, like, should you be into that kind of thing. I really thought this was going to go better this night for us. Like, I kind of thought you were going to see all the new maps and be like, oh, it's interesting, kind of, but yeah, even I'm disliking this more now. Stupid Manifest. I hate Manifest, dude.
Well, so far this is okay. They're lockered knockoff maps, all right, but like this is still the same battlefield.
Oh, this is gonna get a little bit more interesting for this map because now we're getting to the hill part of it.
Okay.
I wish you had the IKEA level though. I think you would have found that one to be nice. That one looks more like Canada than the Canada level does.
That's funny. Yeah. I do remember playing with you when the no.
Yeah, you played the Canadian level.
I played it, but I don't think we did it. Yeah. It does. It looks horrible. And I remember people in the comments like, this looks just like the Rockies. It's like, no, it
Not
doesn't.
at all.
Rockies is absolutely filled with trees. They have like 2 or 3 three trees here and there with like completely like
Colors?
weird slated rock going down. Yeah, well the trees themselves, were like completely yellow, where like I really don't see that type of color here. And yeah, just even the way the rocks were done was like they were like flat, you know, going down, where if you look at the Rockies here, it's not the look at all. It's that cheesy, misty mountain, clumped up mountain look, you know.
It's a different aesthetic. Grenade!
Yeah.
Oh god, I wish you could see the Modern Warfare 3 2 streams. So there's a glitch in that game where your character yells grenade for everything. So if there's a grenade nearby, they yell grenade. Like thrown at you, or near you. And if your character throws a grenade, they yell grenade. And if they throw a stun grenade, they yell grenade. And they've got Mark Hamill in there doing Skeletor. So he goes, grenade! And he just keeps yelling it, like, over and over. And he's, like, really loud and, like, really into it. He's like, grenade! It's so funny. But it's, like, it's annoying, but after a while I'm just kind of like, this is my life now.
Just listening to Mark Hamill yelling in your ear.
Yeah, as Skeletor. See, the thing is, like, the Skeletor, like, outfit is amazing. Like, it's really good. And it's just, like, it's driving me crazy, because he's the only villain I own. Because they, you know, they followed your desire of having factions. So, I'm stuck with one villain character, and it's just, like, all he does is yell a grenade as just this ridiculous kind of thing. Because I've got like 5 heroes. I got Spawn with Keith David's Spawn, which, you know, sounds great. Laura Croft, you know, and then what else do I have? Starlight from the. Have you watched The Boys?
No, I know of it.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single episode of it, but I bought Starlight in there. She's a lady that, I don't know, she has a white outfit. She shoots light out of her eyes and stuff. I don't know. Because I bought her because I was like, okay, well, they're not adding any interesting characters. And then after a while, it's just like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, god damn it, dude. Yeah, so there's Starlight, Lara Croft, Spawn I had unlocked through the Battle Pass, which was a terrible grind. Ash from Evil Dead, who is perfect. Like, lit, because they got Bruce Campbell in there to do the voice and everything. And he's just, like, spouting, like, crazy lines. And, like, it looks exactly like him from Evil Dead 2. It's amazing.
So the whole thing I'm starting as you're telling me this. Oh man. Like they did factions, you said?
Well, there's teams again. So there's a good team and like a bad team.
Oh. But like, what's the point? What is it?
Well, you got Nicki Minaj as the pink monster on the bad team, and 21 Savage.
Yeah, you guys just went, you know, like Michael Jordan with, you know. What's it, Space Jam versus the Monsters, you know?
That's
like,
kind of where we're at.
It's useless at that point. There's no point of a faction if it's just Nicki Minaj.
Hey, she's a bad guy.
Ash running around. And at that point, I couldn't tell you the difference between that and Fortnite. So, like, why do I really...
Wait, Fortnite has Eminem,
you know?
dude.
Oh, there you go. Well, if you had one shot, yeah.
And it's got all those different costumes from his years of doing stuff. Battlefield 4, we occasionally do that one. Battle Cat. You ended up buying Minaj because you like the female operators. Like Nicki Minaj? Oh god. It's too cringy to me because she's this giant pink monster running through the battlefield. That's my line. She's like a giant pink monster. It's like her body proportions. I'm like, is that how she actually like looks? I'm like, that's like just aesthetically, like I can't wrap my head around it. Aesthetically displeasing, basically. I'm like, is that actually how she looks? Because I'm like, that's weird for like a person. Yeah, I'm just not into whatever that is. And then 21 Savage just looks like a dude that's got his shirt off. I don't even know who that guy is. Like, honestly, I only know of him from Call of Duty. I've never heard any of his music or anything.
You never heard of the what's it? I think it's 20 or 22 Savage, but it's supposed to be 21 Savage, and the other guy went 22 Savage just to be, like, they had, like, some stupid, like, rivalry. It was,
what?
It reminds me literally what we were joking. Yeah, I kid you not. My buddy was telling me about this. It sounds like when we were joking that one day about, like, if we just made up, like, a fake argument between us just to, like, you know, get attention. Like, oh, can't believe what Kevin said.
Can't believe he did that. Now a lot of people on the streams don't even know who you are, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
someone will be like, I miss Kevin, and someone else will be like, who the fuck's Kevin?
Kevin.
God. It kills me. I wonder what you would think of all the characters in Call of Duty, actually, if you went and played it. Because you're already indifferent towards it.
I'd almost want to check it out just to
Oh, and Snoop Dogg. I got Snoop Dogg. I liked him better in Vanguard, though. Yeah. Flay's just saying that. I forgot Snoop.
It's just, I can't believe that, like, I'm one of the few people in the room, unless other people say it too, that, like, it's just so lame.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know.
They tried your thing, Kevin. People don't buy those skins.
They didn't even.
They did. Modern Warfare 2019 was all really serious military skins, and nobody bought them.
Well, they had this.
2019 was a huge Call of Duty too. It wasn't like it was a small fry one. It was a big deal, and nobody bought those skins. I didn't, and I have a stable now.
That's actually funny because thinking about it, I think the only one I bought was for the U.S. Rangers.
Yeah, but it's just like if no one else is buying them, it's like. I think they even put out a statement. They're like, we tried to do the serious stuff and nobody wanted it.
Well, I think the argument would be is that you had the serious stuff that you could get in the battle pass or like that you already started with and the people who would use it or whatever. But that like if you're trying to rack in as much money as you could, that yeah, no one's going to buy it in comparison to if you had like Jigsaw or something like that. So I think, yeah, they're just going off of
people
not
like it,
necessarily
man.
Who would play it, but who would buy it.
The other thing, though, too, is you haven't bought in a Call of Duty in a long time. So you're not even their audience, right?
No, that's actually fair, yeah. Well, that's my thing, is that I feel like there is an audience that would buy their game. It's just that audience won't go out and buy 20 different skins, so we're meaningless to them.
Exactly. And the skins are half the price of the game, right?
So then, screw it.
I think you'd fall in love with the Ash skin. He's so great.
It's neat. What was it? The one they showed me was a really cheese anime I like, Hellsing. It had Alpaca.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that was hilarious when I got shown it. Yeah, well, it was funny when they showed it because it was like, no way, I didn't know that was like referenceable enough to be made in the game. But at no point did I like want to pick up Call of Duty to specifically run around as Alucard.
I don't get that one.
I don't know. Call me jaded old man, but it lost kind of what I thought Call of Duty was about, and it's to the point where
about money.
It is. It's another Fortnite.
And just think of the deals they're gonna get now that Xbox owns them.
Oh, just
open
insane,
stores.
right?
Cyberpunk. Like I said, I got an interview. Well, we haven't like fully confirmed yet, but we got an interview with Aurore from the Cyberpunk there, so that should be cool coming up. Yeah. Very excited about that. Big on the actor interviews, guys. Big on that now. Yeah.
They're
V
cool.
to Fortnite.
That's really neat.
Ah, actually would be interesting having Cyberpunk characters in Fortnite. Yeah, sure, why not? Got everybody else. It gets to a point where it's just like, you know, why not keep adding these characters? Next they're adding, was it Rick and Michonne from The Walking Dead? I'm like, oh, that would have been so cool 7 years ago. Because they're adding them to Call of Duty. Just to clarify, they're already in Fortnite. But they're adding them to COD, and I was like, wow. It's like, yeah, I just not a care in the world about those characters at this point. Not in the slightest. Donnie Darko? Which one was that one for? Black Ops? I don't know.
You know what they should have did or should do? Make it that you like give them $50 or something, and you can like take a picture of yourself and like an AI version of it. That's your
The
operator.
legality of that would be such a nice. Remember they used to do that for like Rainbow Six, like or not Rainbow Six Siege,
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Vegas. You could put yourself in with the camera. And they used to do that for like the UFC games and some of the NBA ones. I think it's too hard to legally do that now.
For copyright on your face.
No, it's
like,
about storing that. There's so many protection rights against like the storage of that kind of thing nowadays. Yeah, because these companies, they like take it to use it in the game, but they're like bad actors with that information, and they use it in other ways.
start selling it to the FBI. This is
No, it's like, 1 second you're scanning your character and having a good laugh in UFC, and then the next you're in the crowd of a Disney TV show being like, the fuck did I get in there?
Dude, yeah.
That's what happens. Same with like these companies that do, was it like 23andMe or something, but like the DNA ones? It's like, yeah, they're selling information about your DNA.
Information, yeah.
Like and you're paying a company to sell your information. It's hilarious. Cold War. It was Cold War. I fucking hate Cold War. Yeah. Cold War. More like Depression War. I hated that one so much. I hope the next COD's good. Well, you know what, Kevin? You're going to be getting back into Call of Duty anyways when it's, they're pushed to download it because it's on Game Pass.
I can't wait to play the old CODs. I think that'd be really fun.
Oh, I'm talking about the new ones, Kevin. You're going to get dragged in. I mean, they're on Game Pass. Why wouldn't you give it a try?
Yeah, well, honestly, yeah. Once they're on Game Pass, I'll honestly probably give them a try. But that's the thing. They haven't been great enough that, or haven't sold me enough to actually want to go buy them. I guess, I don't know. Maybe if they were free on Game Pass, I'm already paying for it anyways. Yeah, I'd probably check it out.
They get you. I think that's how they're going to get the casual COD players too. The people that just play COD every year. Why pay for the COD when you can just get it through Game Pass and get access to other stuff? Because we even know people like that just do the sports games every year.
Yes, actually. It is funny how you can see gamers that are literally just sports games.
Yeah. Some people just buy it for Madden or FIFA or whatever. I'm not even kidding, guys. There is literally a big collection of people out there that just buy stuff for sports games. Ghostwire Tokyo. I like that one a lot. Yeah, I really like Ghostwire Tokyo.
I still think it's funny for, the operators and that. But I still like the argument. I was even telling a couple guys that, the operators sell so well now just because, it's okay. Or if you were to go back to, 2008, obviously the language would be considered inappropriate now, but you would get called super lame, for some of the operators,
People love their skins, man. All about the money.
I kind of noticed that with Fallout 76 was, I was running around in Fallout 76, I always tried to dress my character, obviously cool is a perspective thing, but, what I thought was cool was I'd go, try to get, the bandit gear or the military gear, and then you'd see someone running around with, the pit bull hat on, and that's where I kind of noticed that the fad at least nowadays, is just to try be as wacky as you can be. And that's kind of stuck, you
People
know?
always wanted that. They just didn't have the options.
Well, I don't know. I think once again, if you went back to 2008 and threw a fun rabbit head on your head, yeah, I think your buddies would call you names, make fun of you, and then you would just take it off because...
No,
Yeah.
no. We
No,
started having the skins back then. Gears did it with Gears 2. They did the gold ones. Gears 3
They
did
weren't
full
goofy,
skins.
though.
Gears 3 they had full rainbow skins and
Yeah,
everything. I bought that pack.
Did you?
Oh, I bought all
really?
the skins for Gears. I bought them as a combo pack.
That's hilarious.
Well, you bought them all together. But back then, I want to make the clear point here. Back then, when you bought a skin, you bought a skin that worked on every gun. Nowadays, when you buy like a $15 freaking pack or whatever, it was also cheaper back then. You buy it for like one gun. Or there's a character that costs like $30 and you just get like, well, a character, it's like other smaller knickknacks, I guess, but it's changed a lot too. But yeah, what was the first COD that did that? Was it Black Ops 2 or something? They sold skins and tons of people bought it, and I don't think any of the, you know...
By the time we get to Black Ops 2, you're going into the 2010s, right?
Going into what?
Aren't you going into the 2010s by the time you get to Black Ops 2?
Oh, I guess so. You're talking about like the 2000s? Dude, that's
I'm
like
talking like
eternity
2000s,
ago.
yeah.
No. Everybody was praised, not for buying the skins, but for earning the skins, because everybody wanted like the red tiger and the blue tiger. And the thing also is,
They were
the big problem that you're talking about is this stuff just didn't even exist as a concept then.
I don't think it would have sold as well now. I do.
Well, you can't actually even...
Dare I say, bullying, I think, would have kept people from buying certain skins. You know,
I don't know.
I guess it's better now that you're free to do what you want. You don't think that would have affected it? I'm just saying, remember the old Call of Duty lines and tell me you were going to run around in a pink rabbit costume. Like, how do you think that would have turned out? 2007.
I think people would have said things, but I think a lot of people would have bought it and been using it. It would have been pretty common.
Maybe.
That's really hard to say because that stuff literally just did not even exist at that time.
I think those things would have been considered super tacky and lame, to put nicely.
But okay, so we can go back to like the
personally,
original DLC that people got mad at. And that was Oblivion's horse.
Yeah, and the horse thing, and that people talked about what an absolute
but it was
waste
super
of money
successful.
that is. It's just this. Did you buy it? I
didn't even play Oblivion at the time, but it was actually successful.
Oh, I guess. Well, what would be success? Like, I don't know. I don't know these things. Right?
I'd have to go and look at what the numbers were.
I'm just wondering.
But I believe they said people hated it
online,
but it was actually a very high-selling thing. I'd have to look that up.
But yeah. Once again, I don't know, but I wonder by like the numbers, because I know with these guys, if you had 100,000 players and 2,000 people bought it, and you had those 2,000 people give you $60 each, that would be highly successful, and you would come out and say it was highly successful, even if less than 10% of your population bought it. That's where, like we've talked about it with a lot of these games, is the target market for all these things is the people who buy the mega packs, which is the smallest percentage of people who actually even do buy things. But that if you can get 10% of your player base to buy the super mega pack, they are worth more to pander to and appease than the entire 90%, just money alone. Right?
It was a huge success.
Again, I don't know the numbers enough.
It was one of their most successful DLC offerings, like literally more popular than the expansions.
That's interesting to hear, right? That people bought that more than the Shivering Isles, which everyone I know who's played Oblivion has, like, and actually I don't know everybody, so it's funny for me to make this statement, but like everyone I've talked to has played Shivering Isles, but I still don't know a single person who bought that horse deal.
Yeah, they're just not talking about it. The only thing they're talking about
I got yeah, they were
is liking the
embarrassed
stream.
about it. Liking the stream. Money. There you go.
Subscribing's
Dude.
great, donations cool. Consider becoming a channel member. Channel member gifting, the Patreon option, and the Discord. There's also the Amazon store affiliate link. Should you be grabbing anything on Amazon, use the link.
That's awesome, dude. So yeah.
Yeah, but I was just reading an article, like an interview from 2016, and yeah, Todd Howard there says that like a lot of people just wanted their horse to be pretty. And then, like, for an article in 2016 to say it was one of their more popular DLC options, that must mean it probably did pretty good up against like Fallout 3 DLC, and that is interesting.
Obviously take your word for it. I wish they would throw out some numbers, like just to come out. Oh, it was really popular.
Well, he says it was one of their most popular
bought it.
DLC offerings ever. And it was the one that led to the billion-dollar microtransaction industry.
The horse DLC kicked it off. I guess if it's them making the statement, I can't argue anything. I want to scream BS, you know. But like, that's what they're saying.
So it begs the question
Wild.
that if more stuff like that existed, then would it have been super popular?
Mission accomplished.
Would it have? And even then, I were to argue that that somehow it got so much hate, so much people making fun of it, but it was still bought, I would still make the argument that it was armor on your horse. It wasn't big fluffy, you know,
but it's the
butterfly
only
wings on
referenceable
it, you know,
or comparable thing
sparkles.
that we could make to that era, right? Because it was the very first time that something like that happened. So you're basically talking
I would
about
kill for the numbers.
You're making a comparison to something that just literally didn't even exist in concept at that time. It's like we're saying, a horse armor that is like basically just a slight cosmetic to make your horse look different. Not even a whimsical, silly thing. And that was hugely successful. It's like, it does beg the question, would, you know, this type of thing have been really successful then?
It's just, why would that statement be made 10 years after the fact?
Because people ask about it. You think he
I
just
don't
brought
know,
up being like,
so
hey,
funny.
you know that armor?
Yeah, I would love to. I would kill to see the numbers on it.
Oh, it'd be great, but we'll
I
probably
have
never
Todd
get them.
Howard saying it, and I still want to say he's full of it. You know, like, I don't know.
Probably wasn't even getting asked or caring about that on that day. Because 2016, that would have been Fallout 4 coming out, right? So it was probably a Fallout 4 interview, and they're like, hey, remember that horse armor? And Todd Howard is probably being like, oh yeah, that thing.
Everyone went, ha 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 ha. It did well, actually. It did really well.
Yep.
Because, like, if I showed up, you know, and, like, my pants fell down in class and everything was like, wow, that really sucked, and he asked me about it 2 years later, I might tell you that, oh, it was a hilarious gag. Everyone thought it was really cool.
They don't
Once again,
usually.
I can't say anything because that's...
They don't usually lie about that kind of stuff. I think you just gotta accept it, Kevin. It's coming from Todd Howard. It's the 16 times the detail man himself.
Somehow.
You just gotta accept it.
I once again, yeah, I can't argue. I mean, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Like, goddamn, at least I want some numbers on it. Show me how successful it was. You know.
Show the
stats. All 5 people who bought it really liked it. You know?
Nice segue, right? My segues are legendary.
That was
It's one thing I excel at.
The segues are come for the game, stay for the segue.
Kevin, are you one of those stop the DLC sales?
Oh, it depends what for. You know what is funny though is that even as a kid, I was one of those guys that didn't really buy the DLCs.
You should have splurged. Your horse could have looked real pretty for like $2.
Right?
You had the prettiest horse on the block, Kevin.
But I think even if you pulled up the DLC, I would still say that it was very grounded. I still don't buy that many people bought it. It would be like the High School Musical effect if everyone says they don't watch this movie, but everyone knows the lyrics, right? So I don't know. Maybe it was just that shun, but then that would be a funny comment on it too. That if it was truly bought that much, that it was widely successful, but that no one would admit it because like no one would admit it because it was looked at as, oh, that was lame, you get made fun of it. With that that was a single player game. It was literally not commented on how many people bought it because the reaction and everyone gave it. I'd have to assume that reaction would be the same for a shooter game, and the type of people playing shooter games in the 2000s.
Well, they'd all probably say stuff, but they'd all probably buy it. Horse Armor was one of the most popular DLC packs we've done. Believe it or not, what's funny is we went away from Horse Armor and the rest of the industry has gone towards Horse Armor.
Well, why'd they go away from it if it was so popular?
Complaints?
Complaints? The complaints don't matter if you're making money.
Well,
right?
it does if people are looking at your next game and not buying it because of you doing a Horse Armor thing.
That would show that it really wasn't that big. That if enough people really bought it, that it was that successful.
It was like $2.
They would buy the next game anyways.
Right?
It makes me think that, yeah, it was out of all the DLCs they had 20,000 people buy it, which as a financial thing is very successful. Like if you're talking financial standpoint, that many people buy it. But if
the word of mouth and stuff is bad enough online, and $2 versus your, at the time it would be what, $60 games? You're gonna prioritize the $60 sale, right?
Well, unless you go with the silent minority of the internet or whatever. To me, that was just that more people were making fun of it than bought it. In which it would, I kind of go with what I'm thinking it is that they had 10 to 20% of people buy it, which, once again, breaking away from a financial
That's a lot of
standpoint
extra money.
Really good. That is a lot. No, that is.
But it's not enough to sacrifice.
That would show that it is
your $60 purchase for.
That it was very much the. That it was very much the minority of people bought it. But from a financial standpoint, the minority of people who bought it was very well.
Well, I think
if I could get everybody to give
the difference too is if they did that Horse Armor today, and it was $15. And it was that successful, you would keep doing it regardless of people complaining because there was that much more money, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the big thing too. But now, I don't think you can argue against the microtransactions, and I would actually have to say that I think you can't deny that it is a part of gaming now. It'll actually be really interesting to see that. Yeah, I think it would be really funny to see if in 15, 20 years people are just bored of it because everything comes and goes, and skins being mainstream in gaming is what, like 10 years old. If somehow buying skins lasted
that's never going away,
all of gaming, well, because of the money they make, they will keep pushing it. But you know what I mean though, like if it stays forever in gaming, it would actually be one of the greatest anomaly of gaming. So it would just be something that's stuck for forever. I get what you're saying, though. It makes so much money that you would never go away from it.
Well, it's not like a trend,
but nowadays...
You're, like, comparing it to, like, a trend as if it's sort of like the Battle Royale, or it's like a Horde mode. But, like, a microtransaction is, like, an optional purchase that adds to your game. That sort of thing is never going away. It's more fundamental to games now than the actual game itself.
Microtransaction, yes, but I think the skins are there might be a time where just people are so sick of it, or you get such a almost like a Marvel hate thing of like, skins. I remember when my dad bought skins, they're so lame in games, or it might even transform into something else. Like I don't know,
really can't see that. I just, like, they are fundamentally, like, games are literally designed around the concept of personalization and customization.
Because there's that much money being made, right? I don't know. Like I feel like things come and go. Maybe it takes forever. Maybe it doesn't. But I don't know. But like for gaming now, like you're pointing out, is the difference between then and before is
execute. This game has executions?
Nowadays. Yeah, if you get behind them.
You know it doesn't have execution?
I don't think I've done one yet. Lights on the stream.
Halo Infinite.
Oh, jeez, there you go, right?
Do you remember they were supposed to add those?
You're setting up for that segue, yeah. They didn't
Yeah, they
do
never
it.
did. People forgot. Sorry, keep going.
That's awesome. No, it's all good. Yes. Basically that you're pointing out that if enough people, because people make fun of microtransactions now, and there's the whole argument that, like we're saying, if enough people buy the microtransaction nowadays as opposed to then, you won't care. You'll go with that percentage of people buying the microtransaction. But I do think that if that percentage of people buying the microtransaction did lead to hardly anyone buying your game, it still just wouldn't work out to being worth it. Like you said, like with the horse armor, that I do think it's the statistics thing, that if 90% of the people just didn't buy your game because they thought that was so lame, then it's not worth it. But nowadays that people do complain about microtransactions and skins tends to be the older gamers, so on and so forth, that before that time period, but that you still go with it. I think it shows that now there is a large enough population to buy skins that like it doesn't matter. That I think the people who complain about skins have to be in the minority.
Oh, by far.
To follow through with that, or at least it's
there's the skin,
even
guys.
enough number that it does outweigh it.
It's like a yellow gold kind of skin. It's a little. I think for that time that's a little silly, is what it is.
Oh, the horse.
I think if you looked up a photo of it, I think you would think that that one is not as like it fits,
not as grounded as I
but
remember.
it's not like it's like a golden kind of dragon kind of outfit. Makes your horse look real pretty for $2.
No, that's
How much money Gacha games make,
I don't know,
right?
I think it's interesting, the market. Like, it's kind of funny with just the different ways we play games. Like, with the old Modern Warfares, you would get, what, 2 DLCs? And like we joked before, you wouldn't even necessarily play them because not everybody even bought the DLCs.
Well, they would always come out too late after.
You know,
the game.
Yeah, right? But we would play that game with hardly any updates for the whole year, and you wouldn't hear anything. Where nowadays, if you don't have if there's nothing in development for that game, people will declare it dead.
Yeah.
Like,
It's because the
whole
models
attitude
changed.
with gaming, and yeah, the whole thing has changed.
They were selling you a game there,
drastically,
now they're
too.
selling you microtransactions.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally changed how development and everything works, and it's like you're comparing microtransactions to the concept of them being a genre when it's really that is the core product now. Like, literally the idea of the game is not even the sales they get selling said game. I mean, they celebrate that if they do, but they know the lucrative money is what they sell you after. That's why free-to-play is such a big thing.
Yeah. Well, and you have such a population doing it. Like, I do wonder what percentage of gamers can you
Minecraft horse armor?
have Minecraft horse armor? Do they have that?
No, that's what they're saying it looks like. It is.
Oh,
Yeah, it
looks
does.
hilarious.
It does look like Minecraft horse armor. You should look up a picture of it.
That's funny. I'll do that
I'm
right now.
honestly curious.
But I wonder what percentage of gamers that would refuse to buy games over microtransactions could you get to where the point where the microtransaction wasn't worth it. Obviously, we're not at all, but like if you had it that 5% of people would buy the game and buy microtransactions,
Honestly,
would that be able to outsell the weight of 95%?
The industry would collapse
everyone else actually
before they
purchasing
get rid
it.
of microtransactions.
Well, that's actually the sad thing about gaming, where that it's so reliant on it that it would be interesting to see if.
I'd have to pull up the FIFA
right,
numbers,
it's so cemented,
but it would
yeah.
probably astound you at the amount they make off of microtransactions for that.
Oh, well, absolutely. Well, in that you're buying the player
The
packs.
cards.
I got caught in that, and what was it? Yeah, I think it was like
Fortnite.
2016 or 2017.
Sorry, Filet there sitting in Fortnite,
that's
you
all
get
good, bro.
bullied for not having a skin.
Yeah, well, it's opposite, right? That's actually kind of funny. You get bullied. I don't want to be.
You know
crude with it,
what?
But yeah, the best way I
Okay,
could
so
summarize
a
is I
lot
think
of
you
the
would get bullied in
jokes when we were
2007
younger
for
was
it.
people with bad
Yeah.
internet and stuff, right? Being like, you have like Walmart or your internet, or your internet's too poor. I bet you it would have been
Yeah.
the exact same where people in Call of Duty would be calling you a poor sucker if you didn't have a cool looking skin in that game.
Maybe, but I think if that was it, I think the skins would have been different though.
Because I do
You
that
know,
too now in COD. I sit there and I go like, oh, look at these regular basic bitches walking around with their armor, like army skins. This is like, what, you can posy up and buy a skin? Yeah, I actually do that sometimes. I sit there, I'm like, why are you dressed like a soldier? And it's like... oh my god, because I've actually done that on some streams. I'm like, where's these guys' outfits? They didn't pay to dress nice. You know what? Because it's like you were actually talking back then. I bet people would make fun of you for not actually, like... They call you, like, poor and stuff for not having a skin, I bet you.
Maybe. I think the type of skins.
Which, you don't got $2 to buy the...
Much more.
What COD are we gonna go with? I'm trying to think of a movie that would tie in with a COD of the time. Let's do Black Ops 1 for 2010. What was a big movie in 2010? Avatar? Did Avatar come out in 2010? I need a 2010 movie to do my example. One sec here, guys. 2010 movies. All good things? What is that? All good things. These are weird movies.
Okay, yeah. I just think 2000s, if I were to make any argument, is not getting credit
These movies are
for being
terrible.
the absolute judgmental time it was.
I honestly
don't
think
know.
people would have given other people crap for not having good outfits. What are these movies that came out in 2010? Remember Me?
But you don't think even if that was the case that it wouldn't be the type of outfits? Like, I'm just saying, pull up your average COD lobby comment. The idea that when I turned on my Xbox today, I saw how to report online chats, which is just like the lamest thing ever.
Where's your Shrek skin,
But
Kevin?
yeah, but honestly, you had your Shrek skin. Like, I can't even say it. You would get kicked off of YouTube if I would mention the type of things I think would be said to you, and it would be wrong. I have to throw the Disney disclaimer that it was wrong then, it's wrong now. You know, but like I do.
Can we talk more about the
those
fact that
2000s,
2010's movies were
something
terrible?
different. Were they? What were they?
Okay, the #1 grossing film was Toy Story 3, which is fine. But like, there's no like adult stuff. Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1, Inception, Alice in Wonderland, Shrek Forever After, Twilight Saga Eclipse, Iron Man 2, Tangled, Despicable Me, and How to Train. They're all just kids movies that were successful in 2010. There's no like big mature movies outside of Inception.
Are you telling me that you didn't see Twilight for the masterpiece?
I didn't watch I've never seen a single one of those movies.
You've never
Not
seen
a single
them?
one, no. Not a second of footage
That's
I've seen, other than like still images making fun of things like memes and that.
That's hilarious. When you get that wife in our age group, man, I swear that's when you'll have to watch them.
I don't know. I don't think there's a reason I would ever end up watching a Twilight movie.
Not even if she really, really wanted you to.
I mean, like, maybe I'd like put it on, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other better movies that I would
Oh, there
come
are
up.
tons of better movies.
Yeah. I'd be like, why don't we go for The Notebook? Take your pick. I don't know if I could ever see that actually coming up in my life, having to watch a Twilight movie. Yeah. An anime was meant for that. I don't know. Like, I am curious about, like, your perspective on it, but I really think that people in lobbies would have just been, like, actually giving you crap for not having skins. I think you'd get bullied.
Maybe. I like that we both agree that in the time period, one or the other leads to bullying.
Oh,
that
it's
is the
just
that is
straight
the
up
2000s.
toxic culture of that time is what it was.
Yeah. You could get on there and say anything and everything. You know what I mean? Like the jokes of if they actually released all those party chats from the people our age and older to like your work, I think that, like you would see the biggest loss of jobs ever. You know, like just for the evil things we all said. Or,
What happens
like,
in Vegas
the vast
stays
majority
in
of people
Vegas.
said. Stays in Vegas. Yeah, what happened in 2000 chat lobbies, right? Like it was a
What are you
different
talking
time.
about, Kevin?
But
I've
I don't
always
know.
been a saint.
I know you have, and honestly, Sky Captain has always
Look
been
at this
held
guy.
to the most up moral standings.
Yeah.
Yeah. The views said of those around him do not reflect Sky Captain's views of the world.
The only thing that does is me coming in and being like, "Hey yo, be sure to like the stream."
Like the stream.
Subscribing's great and all that other stuff. 2010 was a terrible year to pick as an example because I can't see a single movie that would have been like his skin.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I get if it was to go either way, because like let's be for real. What I'm arguing is hypothetical. So the fact of the matter is that yes, it really wasn't a thing, you know. But I do think that there are things you try sell to your fan base, and like when you look at like the original Modern Warfare,
Dear John,
The Rock,
like what are these movies?
Dear John, yeah, all right.
Frozen, but not the Frozen with the Disney princesses.
This is 2010.
What a terrible Shutter Island, but like none of these work. It's like they have the other guys, which I like, but like it's all kids films that was that year.
What about 2011?
I don't know. What would have been 2011's COD? Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah.
In Time. Mean Girls 2. Sucker Punch. Goon. Christ. Just go with it. What the fuck were these movies, dude? What were these movies? Horrible Bosses. The Hangover 2. Crazy Stupid Love. That was a dark era for movies. Oh, Midnight in Paris, I love. Like, but none of these are like films where I'd be like, well, that would be a character tie-in that you would do into the game.
Yeah.
Huh. That's so funny. Like, I'm like, we'll pick a good example from like, you know, they would, you know, because COD was like a big thing then. Obviously, it was a huge, huge thing. And if there was a character tie-in, it would be like to a big film that would be doing stuff. Did Gears have any good tie-ins with characters? I try to remember if they had any characters that you could buy then, because I know for 4 and 5 they do.
No, I swear, dude, that like I would bet money on it that I don't ever remember a non-Gears character in Gears.
Because like 5 has like Terminator
And like
and
to summarize,
Halo.
even thinking that about like the rainbow one you're talking
Rainbow
about,
skins.
I always remember the joke with the boys was that was for girls.
Well, you bought it as
Which
a
is
pack.
obviously not the case. Anyone can have the rainbow. You
Hey,
know,
back
but, like,
then, a rainbow was just a rainbow gun.
I know, but exactly right. But I'm just saying that like running around being a bunch of jerk kids. I do remember that like, oh, you know, oh, you got a girl's gun, ha 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 ha, like how smart, right? But like, you know,
We need a better COD here that has good movies that would like tie in. I'm honestly, because I was like 2010, bang, and I'm like Black Ops, well, it would have been in it, and then like none of these.
I even just think one of the big things that stealth skins now is how well played games are. You know, like I do the type of guys that like I remember playing a lot of games were either just the boys.
Oh,
or,
you know
like,
what?
The preachy wannabe like military
2010
kids, where nowadays everybody plays COD.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Zombies had tie-in characters.
What, like Walking Dead or something?
No, actors playing themselves. It had Sarah Michelle Gellar, Danny Trejo, Call of the Dead. Do you remember Call of the Dead, the snow map?
No, but what they were themselves.
They were themselves.
Yeah.
She was Sarah Michelle Gellar was herself. Same with Danny Trejo, and Yeah, because I remember that, because we were talking, like, Nicki Minaj, she's like, I'm the first female in Call of Duty playing themself or whatever. And I'm like, no, because Sarah Michelle Gellar was herself in Zombies.
Yeah.
Who were the other characters? Bill Paxton? And, the guy
I don't remember.
who is from The Walking Dead, who dies in the first season, that was the brother of the biker dude. I can't even remember his name. Daryl Dixon.
Oh, Merle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's in Guardians, yeah.
Is his name Rucker? I'll say that's who it is. Yeah, those were characters in 2010. But you couldn't buy them, but they were like the characters you played as, and everybody loved it.
What was the storyline? Was it that they were the actors and that's what happened?
And they got sucked into the,
okay, but then
the world.
Yeah. So that would be like kind of the start of it, but then that's more of like a funny. They're playing themselves as the actors.
No,
right?
they
like,
are themselves.
It's different than the skins. Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh well, what if Danny Trejo was sucked into the zombie universe? Oh, ha ha ha, you know. Which it's kind of the start of that, but like, I don't think that sells necessarily in the multiplayer.
Well, I'm just trying to think of what like were the conversions of like adding that.
Well, comparable, yeah.
And it's hard to, because again, it's not something that actually existed.
Yeah.
The concept of it, aside from the horse armor. Did you see that fabulous horse armor?
I did actually, and it doesn't look that great, but it's funny that it looks like the Minecraft armor. I see what everyone's
It does look like
saying,
Minecraft
but
armor.
the two designs, it's literally the steel armor, and the gold one is the elven armor. And it actually looks like it has the same design of the elven armor. So like those designs were what was in the game.
Yeah, but it's still kind of a cutesy, make your horse look fabulous skin. Because I'm sure what you were picturing was probably something that was more like a brown coloring, that was more like a leather or like a metal work.
Or something. Well, but looking at the armor though, it is referenceable to the game. So even looking at it, I think it's that like, oh hey, you know, have horse armor for your war horse. You know, I like that. It's in reference to the game doesn't make me think that like, hey, it's this big like flashy, flamboyant 1800 style something, you know, horse outfit. Like I don't know. It fits with the game, but it is different. I don't know.
How about 2009 movies? You gotta be kidding me.
What is it just keep getting worse the more
Jennifer's
you go back?
Body, Year One, Gamer the movie, Brothers. None of these characters would fit in.
I was gonna say Jennifer's Body is a very misunderstood.
It's actually
movie.
pretty well put together from what I recall.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Were movies bad in the 2000s?
Yeah, I don't know.
Knowing? We could have the Nicolas Cage tie-in. Knowing.
Because it's funny. I always think of the same three series. When I think of 2000 movies, I go to The Lord of the Rings, Matrix, and
Watchmen.
Star Wars, right?
You would have Watchmen characters would be in Modern Warfare 2?
You don't think that would stand out like such a like sore thumb?
I think people were
Even
really
like, people
into
you're like-
Watchmen, and I think they would buy those characters. Who would be the character? Like Rorish or whatever?
That or like the Joker, or no, the comedian. Sorry. Yeah, but like honestly, like
I think those would sell.
I don't know. I think if you were to show up with the comedian, and it's yeah.
What the hell are these movies? The Proposal?
I actually think it would be funny if my skewed view of the 2000s would be because my friends were the problem. But yeah, I think if you showed up as one of the Watchmen characters and it was like Rangers lead the way, and you came out in that skin, everyone would be like, "What the hell are you wearing, dude?"
I bet they'd be like, "That's so sweet. How do I get that?" And I bet they'd pay $2 to have it back then. We're at such an odds in this one, but I really do. I think if you would have made that available, it would have been selling. It is very hard to say, though, like, definitively either way,
interesting,
because
right?
it literally did not exist.
No, yeah, that's where it's totally hypothetical. It would be really funny to see that I was completely wrong and literally it was going to sell no matter what, no matter when.
You'd have to ask
Who knows, right?
an executive. You missed the top spawn? Yeah, that was so cool when you dove down from the top area on here. It's gone now, but you'd have to ask an executive. You'd have to ask Bobby Kotick of Activision, you know, who's run Activision like that whole time. You'd have to ask him if he's kicking himself for not coming up with microtransactions sooner. That would be the question.
Sooner, yeah. Oh, that would be really interesting.
I actually, like, if I ever get that opportunity to talk to, like, a business person from that, like, time, which I doubt will ever happen, I will legitimately ask about that, because that would be a fascinating thing. It's like, you know, obviously character skins and, you know, gun skins, they sell like crazy now. Could, at the time, had you thought of, like, putting that in the game, would that have been something you would have done?
No, that would actually be great. You know, I would love to know if they think that, oh, it wasn't the right time, it wouldn't have sold. Look at, like, this attempt and that attempt, or if it was like, yeah, it was an untapped market waiting to be hit. And it,
I bet Kotick would laugh at me and be like, yeah, I was a dumbass for not coming up with that concept. Think of the billions we've lost.
Yeah. I do, though. I don't know. Even the idea that if he was like, yeah, it should have been done, I would love to just mention, like, well, do you think it could have been implemented right away, or do you think it would have had to have been a bleed-in process? Because I do wonder if everyone would just go off of the money value alone, that yes, we would have eventually made money, but like, I wonder if, like, you could get the question across, right? Like, do you think it would have sold right away, or would you have just started the process? Or do you literally think you could have came out with a Taylor Swift skin in Modern Warfare 2? You know, 2007. Here's Taylor Swift. Buy it, guys. Like,
I think she would have been the wrong market for that time.
I do not think that would have sold.
You'd have to pick, like, a boy at that time. Like a...
Okay, well, there you go. You're kind of, that's more in line with what I'm going for.
Well, it's more demographics
My
that
whole thing
change
is
for
that,
the games too, right?
That's exactly it. And I think the 2000s were a much more judgmental time. You know,
I wonder if that
bullying
actually
was
would have
much
sold well
more
with the women
rampant,
at that. Well, how
you
big
know.
was Taylor Swift then?
Taylor Swift was huge. I don't know a girl that wasn't. Like, actually, maybe you have to go up to, like, 2008, 9, but, like...
Because she's obviously, like, been a mega...
But I knew lots of girls that liked Taylor Swift, right?
I'm just kind of wondering what her market penetration was,
junior
though,
high days.
with the target audience for COD.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if you
But then
would have
even
hit
then,
the... Because there were lots of women playing games. I mean, it wasn't like... You know...
I don't think near as much as now. I don't think gaming was even as big as it was.
Oh, no,
now.
definitely not.
I knew guys that just didn't play.
But I'm saying, like, would you have maybe actually hit a niche of women that, like, were playing and they all wanted that skin because it was a popular singer at that time, or would that have actually brought people to play Call of Duty because she was in that game?
Do you know a single girl that played? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying by any means that girls didn't play Call of Duty, but you do knew a girl that played Call of Duty when we were younger.
I played with was it Mitchell's one friend there all the time. We played Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. Played for about 3 years or something like that. And I think Mitchell and her had, like, a big falling out, so obviously we didn't talk, but, like...
But I gotta ask, is she the only one you could think of?
No, there was... Well, it depends on what you define as, like, was it just Call of Duty or, like, other games?
Well, like, I would say Call of Duty, because, like, I do know, like, my sister played games and stuff like that. And, like, it's a funny statement of, like, of course girls played games, but when I knew girls played games, it was generally Mario Kart. And it's funny saying that, like, I do know, like, actually there was...
Sister did Fable.
Like, 2 girls my dad played with that played... Yeah, Fable. But, like, and my dad played with 2 girls that did play Gears of War. And they had their little, like, MLG group. And so, like... Yeah, by no means am I saying that women don't play these games. It's just I could go on and on about the difference. Where nowadays, when I meet a gal, I I expect her to almost play all the same games I played. I remember
Why,
working
the Watchmen
at
game?
this.
Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
Oh, the Watchmen game. Yeah. No, sorry. But yeah, like I just the demographic of it is all I'm getting at. It has changed, right? Like,
I'm just curious if
I
that
think
would
that's the
have
big thing
actually
too. With
increased that, because was it Hannah there? I knew had Rock Band, and then Straza played Guitar Hero, and I think she played COD too. But I don't think I played with her in COD. And sorry, like again, you're getting me to think back to like people that I haven't interacted with. It like
no, and that's
you're really putting me on the spot to like, come up with that, because 2008
No, it's
is
all
like
good,
you know 15
But
years
I'm
ago.
even just thinking the gals you're naming. Oh, maybe she plays Rock Band. Oh, this gal plays Fable or something like that. Where like I'll say now that any girl I talk to who plays games, for the most part, plays everything I do.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. It's just
I do know that like I
much
actively,
more popular. You know,
I believe at least a couple years played with Mitchell's one gal pal. We literally played together, like doing this. And
I think that's really cool. Actually, it's actually
was
really
it
cool.
Janae there? We did Halo Reach. We played a lot of Halo Reach. And it's just gonna keep coming to me as I like. It's still mostly dudes playing COD. It definitely is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just like it is definitely more common on that stuff. And then.
But don't I even remember the argument?
And we played Gears
like,
and we played Halo,
early...
Janae and I. And then there was.
But then let's play the game. How many guys do you know you played COD with?
Everybody played COD. Everybody.
There you go. You know, like.
Yeah, everybody played COD.
Everybody, yeah.
The bigger thing there
But, like,
was like who was playing on PlayStation, who was playing on Xbox, and everybody had the Xbox.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Buying the operators. I don't know. We have quite a few women that buy characters and stuff. I just love the idea that I'm like.
Everybody equally.
I am reaching like so far back to like think about.
In your memory to see who you're playing with.
Because I remember the games and I remember some odd moments, and I don't necessarily remember certain people unless I'm still like interacting with them.
No, that's fair. And watch, you'll be going to bed today, and you'll be like, "Oh,
this
yeah,
one,
Jennifer, or whatever," you know, like, yeah, like no, I don't blame it. It's just I do. I think it's interesting. Where now I do. I expect any gal I meet to be playing games as much as any dude. Where it's, once again, it's not like gals weren't playing games back then. But if I asked a gal, oh yeah, I maybe play Just Dance, or oh yeah, I play Mario Kart. Well, how often do you play? Yeah, when I got nothing else to do. Yeah. Yeah, you know, then yeah. And I even think the one thing for it, and that's the thing too, is where you're saying that, yeah, you could sell skins. I do think it would be very select types of skins you'd be selling. Like, I even admit that, like, yeah, maybe you would have that niche market of girls that would buy the game, and that would be really neat, because then you'd be ahead of the time of making characters for them to play. It would actually be, like, super progressive at that
I'm just
point.
wondering if that would have actually been, like, something that would have increased their market share earlier on, was actually tapping into that female demographic.
Possibly.
I have no interest in COD, but Taylor Swift is out here endorsing this. And they consumed that type, like, pop stars are always huge, right? But I think at that time, because I'm trying to think of what era she became super, like, obviously she's hyper popular nowadays, right? Smashing records, blah, blah, blah.
I'd have to say when we were in junior.
But I'm wondering if it was at that point where they were diehard consuming any sort of media that she was in. And saying Call of Duty, let's say they could afford to put her in too, right? Yeah. Would that have been like a diehard thing where it's like, well, Taylor Swift's playing COD? Like,
actually, probably would have been cheaper back then. Like, I love the point where it was cheaper, where there was a time where you couldn't have a game made after a movie and not have the voice actor. I thought that was so weird in the modern Battlefront when they didn't have, I can't remember that killer actor's name, but the clone trooper himself, Boba Fett and all that. where Jango Fett, where they didn't have him voicing it, and it was like, oh yeah, it's the guy from the Clone Wars, and it was like, what guys, they don't even have him voicing it. It's like, oh no, it's like impossible to get it. I'm just saying, I think it would be easier to have Taylor Swift, but he doesn't even play the game. Let's say not Taylor Swift. Like, pick whatever name you want.
That's the struggle that we're having. Shakira, no, that would be big enough.
Like, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, you pick the most popular female celebrity at the time.
Okay, let's just say hypothetically, at that time, Taylor Swift was like the in gal, and everyone loved her and loved everything she had. And she came out and endorsed thing like, I play Call of Duty. I actually think that would have swayed women to actually give that more of a try.
How many though?
I think they were so I think at some point some of these women have been so diehard about Taylor Swift that they consume any sort of thing that she points them towards. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. Well, and that you are fair, because there's marketing. There's a reason why we use celebrities. There are people who will buy and not buy certain products just because someone said it. Like, yeah, like there's no denying the power, endorsement, advertisement, all that. It's just, I still, like, even if you look at media, what I can always tell the 2000s teenage movie to now, because all the girls act very cheesy stereotypes, like really girly sort of thing. Just the way it was sold. Where nowadays everybody's cool doing
quirky
everything, like
personality. He's a little shy, but she's perfect at everything. And,
awkward at times. Like,
I have all the Kong achievements.
Thing. Like,
I am a true professional gamer. I do have all the Kong achievements.
Oh, buddy. How could you not play the game of the year?
I am King Kong. I think they're talking about Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh.
Which is a great game. I don't know if you played it, but that game is really good. Like, it's like a survival, almost horror type game. It's got all the actors in it. And Peter Jackson himself oversaw development on that one. It's really good. Like, if I would have saw that when the 360 launched, I would have been like, oh my god, this is what next-gen gaming is about. Seriously, I'm so impressed with that game. Because I played it for the first, it's Mitchell had it. I don't know if I would have, played it, or, watching him play it, but...
Still remember having sleepovers where you were both playing entirely different games at some point.
You were hanging out.
But just enjoying each other's... Yeah, you were enjoying each other's company.
Now you just have party chat, so there's no point in doing that, or Discord, or blah, blah, blah. It was party chat, and then now it's Discord, right? So.
But even then, we had party chats when we get together. It was just...
we didn't have party chat all the time. Remember?
I think like 360.
Party chat came in later, dude.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Shows, yeah.
We had private chat.
Did party chat kill the gaming sleep?
It really did, I think.
No.
Well, what was it? When did party chat come in? Because I know Modern Warfare 2 forced you into game chat. Was that because of parties, or was that because of private chat?
I remember my buddy literally got Red Dead first and invited me over to spend the night, and he literally just sat there watching me play Red Dead. And at one point he threw on RuneScape in his laptop, and we were checking out what each other were doing, hilarious.
I remember going to Mitchell's.
It's kind of stupid when you think about it.
He would be on one PC in one room, and I would be on another PC in another room.
Yeah, I brought my 360
we do
over
LAN
so
battles.
we could play Modern Warfare. Yeah, in the same... Yeah.
We wouldn't even be in the same room.
Yeah, you would be in separate rooms over at my buddy's
the big
house,
revolution
and,
was getting multiple screens in one room so we could both play at the same time.
That's it, man. I remember in between matches we'd go get Slurpees because the 7-Eleven was close, so that we would grab our Slurpees, walk and chat, and then both go to separate rooms and play Call of Duty. Hilarious,
That's so
right?
long ago. When did parties come out? I think parties were 2010.
I just, for some reason, I thought they were younger than that, but that's wild.
Xbox Live Party Chat. I'm gonna look that up. Xbox Live Party Chat. Because I'm curious when that first came in.
Because I remember, like, wasn't it like you couldn't play COD if you were in the party chat?
That's what I just said.
Like,
Modern
I
Warfare
remember
2.
when party chat.
But I can't remember if that was if you were in a private chat. Was to curb? Because it was to curb people not talking to people in the game or something. Is why they introduced that and they forced you into the game chat.
Oh, and I remember the couple times you were in like private chat or whatever. It'd be like, oh, you know, F this. I'm gonna go talk some shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, someone's saying 2008. I don't remember having it back then. 2008, because somebody says there was a beta for it. We can go to the 360 wiki. User interface. Bing. Oh, that Bing stuff is awful. I'm trying to think when we first got it. So they're saying talking about the blades, the new experience, the optical drive, avatars. They don't really talk about when Xbox Live Party Chat came out. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Modern gaming. Well, nowadays, it's like, it's impossible to get someone to go and do, like, anything.
Oh, yeah, well, it's just someone wants to go home, and it's so... All your entertainment is so accessible at home for streaming and that. Even though if you think about it, before streaming services, yeah, you'd have your buddies who pirated stuff, but other than that, if there was nothing good on
You
TV...
went out.
Hey, yeah, you went out. Yeah, oh, this is an episode I've seen 5 times for that. Where literally with streaming, I could watch whatever I want when I want.
On demand.
So the TV alone, the gaming, it is like instead of going over to my buddy, like you're saying, it's so much easier just to hop on Discord and all play the same game. I can't.
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth to get even people to go to like a bar or something.
Exactly,
A lot of people are just giving up on.
Like... well, if you get no results, what are you doing, right?
Yeah, what was it? My buddy Mike there is like, I tried a few times over like multiple, you know, like every 6 months, and eventually I was just like, fuck this.
Right. Oh, you shouldn't have to chase.
That's the
people,
thing. It's
right?
like, yeah.
I
But also,
that.
if you don't chase people, then you don't end up with anyone to go do anything with.
Well, it's a balance, right? You got to pick the people you really like, but you're willing to chase. But it's
a double-edged sword.
You have to chase a little bit. Yeah, double-edged sword. You have to chase a little bit, but if you're chasing too much, then it's like, yeah, it's weak sauce.
It's too much effort almost to deal with people. So I also got my buddy Marcus there, where...
Oh, and someone's got to throw you a bone.
That's the thing, right?
If you're chasing, yeah, like, and nobody's replying, it is. It's just pointless at that point. But if you have to chase a little bit, but eventually you get a reply, I guess so be it.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I want to, blah, 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 and then it's like, you never do it. It's just like, what a waste of time for me. That is funny. The other thing too is like a lot of people I guess our age are also like married and settled, and you know, you don't want to go out anymore because you can just chill in at home. This is probably the most least interesting night of 24/82 I've had.
Right? I think the conversations have been neat.
Yeah, but it's like usually this game is more interesting. I swear.
I don't know. That's always funny. Like we've mentioned it before, but yeah, like I noticed, especially even with the job I'm doing right now, it's really time consuming. And there's a couple weekends, like the one guy that like really likes to play D&D. There's been a couple nights where, yeah, when I was doing the part-time job, you know, you got a lot of time. Yeah, it's not so much to want to go airsoft or play D&D, but when you're doing the full-time heavy lifting job, like when I get home, I want to do nothing, and on my weekends, I appreciate doing nothing. But there's still
But back in the day,
where you kind of
would go out.
You would go out, and actually, that's the funny thing too. I think it's because entertainment is so readily available to you. I always remember being a kid, seeing my dad having his buddies over. and they would drink in the backyard and have barbecues, or they'd go out and do something. And I always thought I couldn't wait to be an adult to do these things. And no one really does that. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we do not interact like I at least believe I remember
Not like my parents at all.
our parents doing. Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing is, too,
I think
I've noticed my parents don't do that anymore either.
Exactly. No, and that's a funny point, right? I do think that entertainment is just so readily
Is that more of a
available like never
societal
before.
change?
I think that is a societal. Well, I keep mentioning, but yeah, the entertainment. But yeah, I think it's a society thing that it's.
Because yeah, they used to do
It's a lot of effort, and you can do
fire
things,
pits,
yeah.
and they'd have like Coronas and stuff. I remember that being such a thing. You'd have multiple different people coming in, and honestly,
But what are your parents?
I don't even remember the last time my parents actually like interacted with. I wonder if that was just because of like sports and school stuff though.
Possibly. I do remember my parents still have their friends that they'll talk to, and occasionally they'll get together. But like, I remember my old man kind of play video games every now and then. He was a gamer, but like nowadays, what he does is game. And where my mom would kind of watch TV, and now she watches Netflix all the time. And that could just be that they're getting older too. But I do like that point that that older age group that hung out, they really don't now. And they're not super old. We're not talking about 80-year-olds. We're talking about people in their 50s, right? Like,
Whoa, my parents are just hitting that this year, or last year, I think.
what, 50s?
Exactly.
Yeah, so then there you go. I'm just saying that they're at that age group where when I was younger, I saw the 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds hanging out still.
My parents are
hilariously I always thought that was
young.
old people that go read books. There you go, right? Oh, it depends when they have you, right? Like,
I'm just saying,
my
in
parents had me
relativity
at
to me,
27,
like
yeah.
most of the people I know, their parents are like late 50s right now.
Yeah. Well, there was my one buddy or whatever, and his parents were actually like 60s when we were in high school. They had him like really late. It's kind of my one worry with having kids is I do kind of have my kids soon. I don't
They
want
get more years with you if you have them younger,
know.
or when you're younger.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of, a service, not service, like a service to them or something. It's nice for them. They get you more.
Yeah, that's.
And I don't like the idea of being in my 40s dealing with like a 12-year-old
running around,
or
you don't have
something
the
if I
energy.
have my kids late. Yeah.
I'm glad you like the streams and the content. I worked really hard at them for good details, so I'm glad you appreciate that. Well, I'm like, my grandmother was passing away there. I was kind of doing like the math on stuff, and I was like, God, I should really feel like more of a rush to have like kids right away, because it's just like mathematically, like my kids would know my mother very well, or for very long, right?
Yeah.
Mathematically.
Actually, that thought, if that's what you're getting at, is that kind of bums me out when I think about it, that if I don't have kids at some point, it would be really horrible for me to have a death in the family and like, oh, hey, you never got to meet my parents. Like, I think that would be lame. Yeah, sad or whatever. Like, my old man's expressed, literally my grandpa passed away just before I was born, and I see my old man talk about it. He's disappointed
Because
about
you
it,
get
as
to
I
know
assume
them.
you would. And I get it, because, yeah, I'd be disappointed too, so I would like to have my kids.
Because I'm also thinking of
Everybody's around.
like my cousins. They're like, one of them is I think almost 18, and one of them is like 13 or something. But like they kind of barely knew my grandmother. Like I knew her for like, like nearly 30 years. Like, and
that's
statistically, like when I have kids, because I have to meet someone, and it takes years and blah blah blah, and then it might not work out, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then you have them. It's like that number, that amount of time just isn't actually even possible.
Yeah.
Which is wild. When someone dies, you really think about death. Like,
Oh, yeah, I know. It's shocking you. It's funny when you see people change when they experience it, right?
yeah, because I've actually never lost anyone close to me at all.
No, that sucks, right? I really haven't. I've had family members like that have died, but no one ever really close. So I wonder how that's going to affect me that first
It's
big one.
interesting.
But it's a funny subject, right? Like, not to go into it too much, but I love that point that humanity
Streamer.
does not think about death. We put it on the background that if everybody thought, oh my God, I'm going to die one day, and you really put in that fact of, like, holy, what's going to happen?
And you're not living.
Yeah, well, you're not living, and a lot of people wouldn't function. Like, people, when they really are face to face with it, some people just shut down, some people get aggressive or do crazy stuff, you know. Like, it's so interesting that as a species we take this inevitable huge impact, maybe the only impacting thing ever, and it's to the corner.
Well, that's a next time
We're
thing.
fascinating creatures.
Anyways, I think we should call it a day on the
Sorry,
stream.
yeah. Absolutely.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
What a wild conversation to end with.
Death, dying. It's coming for you.
Yeah, any day.